Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday Nights with Matt Fuller.
Jamming out with my airbase there. Sorry.
There you go. You don't need AirPods for that. What's going on, Matt? We haven't done this in a while.
It's been a little bit. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks so much for putting aside some of your Friday night. I know you probably had some insane plans tonight, nightclubs. Joe Jusko was probably going out with you for an art event of some sort. So you're a pretty popular guy.
Exactly. I was going to go appraise a Rembrandt. I put it aside for this.
Is the Rembrandt that you do own in the closet in like a binder? Or are we gonna?
I had to move it to make room for some Marvel art. So It's priorities.
We have seen some really cool stuff lately with Marvel artwork. Tonight we're going to talk about sketch cards, which you might own a couple sketch cards.
I have one or two. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's say hello to some people in the chat who are jumping on for their Friday night to enjoy a conversation with us. So we've got, as per usual, my buddy Matt. We got Donnie Boy Collects in the building. What's going on? Old school comic cards. Welcome to the party. Claws Out. Make sure you're checking out the Claws Out channel. What's going on? Holy beard of claws.
I had the marker ready and I was going to just start dotting my face, but
I thought we were going to coordinate outfits, but I know it was a busy evening. So, I thought Matt's coming on the channel. I will not be clean shaven. So I thought about it. I grew a beard. It's a full moon. I don't know if you guys noticed. So it comes in twice as fast. But who else we got in here? We got the 99 newsstand. I had a really fun chat with Manu. You were in the chat as well there.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
That was really cool. That was always fun to have some conversations with people around the community. We got Matt in the building. We got Kazra again. What's going on? Nice fretless air bass, man. I love it.
You can tell I've never played a bass or guitar in my life.
I don't have a musical bone in my body, and God forbid I sing. That's the telltale sign I'm loaded. That's the... And then everybody else Donnie pointing out that I am dressed like a GQ model. I have a GQ event here later on tonight. My tuxedo is just being pressed. I'm totally joking. I'm doing nothing on a Friday night here on the oil rigs. But we have just gone through MM22 season, which feels like it was a long weekend.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. That was a wild one.
Under 3 days. I suspected it would go fast, but to see it actually happen, it was amazing.
Did you participate in anything on EPAC? Did you open anything? Because I know you were a big physical product opener.
Yep, I did. I ended up getting, I want to say, about 3 boxes worth total. I opened 1 full box, and the rest were just onesies, twosies here and there.
Were you sad to see it sell out and be over, or were you relieved?
Yes. Right. Yeah, I think you can be both, right?
Yeah, you totally can. That's a great answer.
Right. Sad after the fact is I'm like, I should have bought an extra box or 2. But for me, I was buying them all to have trade bait for sketches. And I didn't pull one in my 3 boxes. So, I've managed to do some trading. I've got 1 more in the works right now, but it's tough. It really is tough because other people who go after specific, it's finding that Venn diagram of people who have what you want, but it's tough.
It's interesting how people trade on EPAC. You start to get a bit of a rhythm where, like, if you have stuff, people are flooding you a little bit. There's like an etiquette to it of trying to crack that code. And then once you get it kind of down and you're in a good rhythm, it sells out and it's kind of over.
Yeah. And a lot of people, I missed a lot of the trading early on because I was down at that event. So I didn't get to see a lot going on there. And that then basically most of my trading has come like, okay, what are my best cards? Click on the little magnifying glass. Who's looking for it? Okay, 12 people want it. I have to open up all their collections, see what they want. And
it's a full-time job.
It is. It can be a chore for sure, but it did pay off a little bit.
Yeah, no, and that's part of the research of doing it. Now, as part of that research of searching through EPAC, especially with MM22 and looking at things for me, has just been going to the search function and searching sketch. and then going through the artist list that comes up for each set. But this one has been MM22. Are you someone that does that frequently?
Yes and no. First thing I do is I search for sort of my favorite and or key artists. So I'll start with them, and then yes, I will go kind of artist by artist. Even artists who I say, you know what, I don't normally collect this person, but you go through and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, this one really resonates with me for whatever reason.
Right.
And a lot of times that's what it is. I do have some favorite artists, but other times it's just something about the card. Like I can give you a great example of a new guy who he's probably not completely new, but he was new to me for this set. Hugh Vaught.
Okay.
And I saw two of his cards, and I was like, "Wow, there's just something about these that just popped with me." And they weren't even characters I super heavily collect, but the style, the composition was just there, and I said, "You know what? I got to get these."
Did you happen to pick up a Loki by him?
Nope, I got a Doctor Strange and a Crystal and Black Bolt.
Gotcha. Who was the Loki? Who was the artist that did that Loki that you got recently?
Oh, PJ, the one where he's kind of leaning over like this.
Wow, what a spectacular image that was.
Yeah, PJ does great work.
You know, I was watching a documentary about a painter, and it was saying how something that really contributed to his art career and his success was the fact that he had a single collector who was really passionate about his work and built a collection of it. And it kind of caught on years later that he was collectible. You're like that in a way with sketch cards, I'm sure, where there are artists that you're saying, like, here's a newer artist that you're interested in, and you're starting to gather them up. That kind of builds a bit of momentum when there's someone who, like, of your collection that's collecting them.
I think it probably less to the popularity, but I think it certainly helps the artists to continue to do sketch cards. Like, there are a few where I again, I don't want this to come out at all like somehow I had nothing to do. I was happy to be a patron for these guys. And if that in some way contributed them to continue to sketch cards, great. But early on, Kokonakis, I threw a lot of money his way, and he's just absolutely killed it. And I mean, I think PJ was already caught on when I got onto him, but I've got over 100 of his.
Wow, that's a collection.
Marlo Martos is another one. I've been buying his APs for a long time. So yeah, I've definitely through the APs, I have had the opportunity, and in some cases, I'd say the privilege of working with these artists early on, and showing them that hey, we as fans can help support them through this weird financial model of being paid pennies for cards, but then doing the APs.
Yeah. It's interesting how a sketch can be a hit in a box, and yet they could have paid the artist $10 to do it, $5 to do it.
Yeah.
Kind of bizarre.
Yeah. And it's interesting that model is sort of gone now with top, well, at least on the Marvel side with Topps, because they don't do APs. And from what I've heard, that their no AP policy that was at Star Wars will continue through Marvel. Until I see a contract, I'm not going to say that's guaranteed, but one or two artists I've heard from have said that's what they heard. So still a rumor at this point. But obviously now that Upper Deck is DC, they'll still be able to do the model the same way there.
Right. For you guys who are in the chat right now, why don't you let us know some artists that you guys are collecting? We'll bring names up as you guys start to list them, and we'll have that. We'll incorporate that into the conversation. Something that me and Matt were discussing beforehand in the green room was that the price of sketches has become very challenging to gauge. So when you hit a sketch, or when you're trading for a sketch or buying a sketch, one of the most common questions you see in the Facebook groups or in the Discord or whatever is how to price them. So maybe today we'll touch on a couple factors. We don't have a system. There's no science to this, but a couple of little things to maybe take into consideration about when you're trying to price a sketch card to purchase or a sketch card to sell or trade. I think let's just open it up, Matt, with let's start with card stock.
Sure.
So there are sets where sketch cards are per box. In Rittenhouse products, you would open up a box and receive a sketch card. The quality of the sketch cards was very good. I really enjoy the Rittenhouse card stock, and they were common. So there isn't the manufactured rarity to it where we have platinum, where what was it, 100 sketch cards that were
Yep.
produced?
Just about 100. Yeah.
And how many artists? Was it 20?
No, 6. I want to say it was only
6?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was on, right. It was Susprisa, Bob McLeod, Sankovic, Miles, Casey Parsons, and I'm forgetting somebody, but I think it was only 6. Somebody in chat help me out.
You said Miles, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Casey and Miles did the most. I think Bill only did 4 or 5. I think Miles, Casey, Priest maybe did 10. So there were some low numbers for sure. And Bob McLeod, small number as well.
So the point in bringing up the cardstock portion of it is that when you're trying to value a sketch, a great place to start for myself when I'm looking at a sketch, one of my first questions is, what set is it from? So obviously, if you're pulling a sketch from Platinum, you're working on a completely different rarity and artist range. So you're pricing something much, much higher than you are if you pull, let's just use a masterpiece sketch, for example. But knowing the odds on pulling a sketch from a set is a really good way to start deciding on a price, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Matt?
That's a good basis, but then even within that, though, it's all right. Well, not just how many are there in the set, but for that particular artist, how many did they do? Right?
Yes.
There might be a set, where it's a sketch card in every box, so there's thousands and thousands. But then, okay, well, if you're a Glebe fan, they only did 10, or Perna, he only did 10. So
Right.
You've got to sort of focus it even more granularly than that, I think.
Yeah, and that's a good point of knowing the numbers. One of the things on EPAC that you notice when you search sketches is it will show you the number of them that are on there. And when a set like MM22 is so fresh, you get a great example of how many each person did. Because some people will have 35 in their column, some people will have 4.
Yep.
And that is a great indication of that as well. Another thing that comes up in trying to price a sketch, it seems to be character. The character selection. And part of the reason I wanted to bring this up as part of the criteria is that in Fleer Ultra Wolverine, if you pull a Wolverine sketch, no one is losing their mind. No one is beyond excited. Oh my God, I can't believe I pulled a Wolverine sketch.
Right.
So it does have to weigh into it a little bit on the basis of the cardstock.
Yeah, and I think, yes, absolutely. I mean, a Phoenix would be a little rarer in a Wolverine set, although probably not as rare.
Right.
But maybe an X23 is even more rare there. I think for some people, I think that could certainly, I mean, my whole way I do it is just, it throws everything out the window. So mine's crazy. So let's not go by my specifics.
Can we hear a couple details of your specifics though? Because I now you've got me intrigued.
I mean, it's the difference between what if I'm selling and if I'm purchasing. The big difference between them is the factor on the purchase side, which there's no way to quantify this, is just nostalgia. Does it just hit? Does it bring me back to a moment in time for that particular issue? Because if it hits that it's one of those issues I read in that 1979, 80 through basically in those 80s, that whole Bronze Age.
Yeah.
If it's a callback to that for something I really liked, then all bets are off at that point.
So I love the nostalgia factor.
Yep.
For myself recently, I've been going on a simple criteria of, well, one, is it my character? I don't buy sketches that are not of my character. But I have one of this criteria that I go with right away is, are the eyes done correctly? And that might sound so petty or so simple, but I don't like sketches that are a side portrait. And I understand in a time crunch why an artist would do that. I'm not trying to take that away from them. But when my character has the facial expression correct and the eyes are just white, that's like my starting point where I know that the artist knew the character. He knew the anatomy, or he or she knew the anatomy.
Yeah, on purchasing. So the nostalgia is the plus. There's another factor, which is it's almost like a razor wire fence, which is that I need to look at the card, and if in the first 10 seconds I find something I don't like, some flaw, done. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not even going to try to convince myself otherwise. If I say, I'm not going to name any names. If I say, wow, that neck's way too long, done.
Yeah.
If I see, if that hand, looks like it, it's missing a finger, done. If there's something wonky about the eyes, forget it. And I don't think he's probably watching, but shout out to Rick Ortiz. Rick is fantastic at finding that. Like a lot of times I'll run something by him and I'm like, what do you think of this? And he is like a middle school girl. And I'm going to qualify that because he's going to get offended. But why I say that is they can find the one thing that you're most insecure about and just rock it in on that. And that's him with sketch cards. He can be like, oh, yeah, that ankle's all wonky. And then I look, I'm like, oh, my God, he's right. I don't want this card, right?
No, it's really, and so I love that that there's a looking at it and trying to look for something that might stand out to you as an imperfection. One of those things that I notice in a sketch card when I look at it is, did they use the correct black? So when lots of times when we start using these finer pens, the black isn't quite black. Maybe it has there are certain brands of pens that sink into it and turn very gray really quickly. And I'm such a picky guy, it's just, that drives me nuts when I see a perfectly done sketch that's outlined with this weird ass black.
And they call me OCD. Wow.
I know, right? Oh my God. Years of drawing ruined me. I'm even worse with paintings.
I hadn't even considered that. Yes. And an artist is probably even more critical in some ways. Like I can't even draw a stick figure. So,
something that that oftentimes infuriates me about original art. So like, because it's been in the headlines lately that the Jusko work has come up and we've seen so much of the Dan work. Something that drives me nuts about OA paintings is that you can't see any brush strokes. I feel like I'm in the Paris salon and everything is so perfect. And these are great paintings, and I'm being a total dick right now. That's just me. But I like the Van Gogh paintings where you see every brush stroke and things are so I don't know, in a way organic. I feel for Dan and Joe when I look at these paintings of how irritating these must have been to do.
So who then of all the artists, you could see it a little bit on Simone, but because it's more watercolor. But Palumbo, his work, you can see the layers. Like I'm looking at some of his prelims, and you can absolutely see the texture in there. You can see the layers of paint. So as far as that, he's your guy for masterpieces. Then
I saw a great comment that you made. We're on one of the Facebook groups. I recently have been quoting the Facebook groups a lot because I feel like that's where a lot of the community that's grown with the hobby is centered around. Where somebody was saying how irritating they found it that there were pencil marks on the card, and that's a totally like legit point if that bugs you. But I read your comment about how you like seeing the process in it, and I am on the exact same page as you. Like I love seeing what you're seeing are their thoughts. You're seeing their thoughts underneath, and that's really important to me.
Oh yeah, and especially if you go way back, you rarely see this. You'll still see pencil lines on some, but you have to go to the older sets to see when they use the blue lines.
Cool.
Those are really hard to find, right?
Oh man, you heard it here first, people. I'd never even thought of that.
Right, there you go, claws out. Exactly. Sometimes it's best to ask other people before you purchase, because I've made that mistake. I've picked up a card, I haven't asked anyone, and I send it and I'm like, oh, look at this, I'm so excited. And then not knowing I bought it, someone's like, oh, that's terrible. And then I'm like, oh no.
So, I mean, first of all, I want to answer, if Matt can answer Brian Shaw's question. Does anyone know who signs their sketches Yo MG? I don't.
So is it Yo and then MG is separate? Because I think that would be like Yonami signs it Yo, and Yonami has an assistant who's Matt something. And for a while they were doing them together, and I believe Matt signed them. So my guess is it's that combination. If the Yo is like a capital Y and a little O, and then the MG is separate, that's my best guess.
Only Matt could give you that answer. We have some comedians in the chat all the time here, and Pulling Fire is just steady making fun of Raj here. And Raj, you take the brunt of it on the channel, and you take it like such a champ. I really appreciate you But oh my gosh,
Brian, if that's it, yeah, just look on ePack under Yonami and you'll probably see a matching signature.
And Brian saying yes. So great. Thank you so much for answering that. Someone who has a crazy style in all of this that I feel like I do see more of the brushstrokes is Wayshack.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yep.
You know, Wayshack has a really I hate using the term in art loose because it's such an art school term, but like he just has a loose brushstroke, right? Like you can tell this guy like might have swung paint at this painting.
You know who I think in sketches is a good example of that? And again, this is another one where I've been collecting them for a while, but I think they've caught on enough. Like I've seen the prices enough that other people have caught on, so I have no problem sharing it. Sean Anderson is an artist who uses very sort of not abstract, but loose colors and has this style where you can really see the process. And I think his cards absolutely stand out like that.
I love hearing names come up in all of this because, you know, sometimes, like you were saying, like the people know, like if the spoiler alert is there, like it's not like we're the first ones to talk about it. Sometimes it's nice for it to catch on though. So you guys can go and eBay these, you can look them up on ComC, you can look them up on ePack, you can start like doing your own research, even if not to buy them, to see examples of the work that we're talking about. Jake Glassburner, who might own a sketch or two, who also today discovered how to send voicemails to me on Instagram, which I was thrilled, says, how do you guys feel about sketches being scuffed and beaten up on the back? I actually like it. Why don't you start us off with that one?
So I suspect he's saying this because there was a post in MCCW where some poor guy, and he just made the mistake of saying, hey, this looks beat up, what about QC? And rather than, you know, the community was pretty savage.
He got eaten alive. That poor fella. I felt for him too. Just bringing it up.
Yeah. And if you're not a huge sketch fan, I can get why you'd be like, oh, that's weird.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, cards, and you know, as an artist, you're moving them around. Sometimes they tape them together to do puzzles and it'll take pieces off.
Yeah.
I don't mind, unless the paper is flaking off. Yeah. I'm not worried about the condition of the back, quite frankly. That would be different if all of a sudden it was peeling and disintegrating. But yeah, if it's just wear, I've seen some, like, I do remember I sold a sketch on eBay. This is probably 2 or 3 years ago now, and it was a Rittenhouse, and their stock wasn't thick. It was standard 35 point. And somebody had used very vibrant colors, and some of it bled through on the back. Yeah. And the guy wanted to return the sketch because the back was ruined. And I was like, okay, if that's really important to you. But that's the only time in my career I've ever seen anyone complain about the back of a card. So,
Jake, I think it's a really great question. And I mean, I think the back of some of the sketch cards look better than the achievement cards that were probably used for Frisbee golf. But for my answer to it is that when a card has that type of wear on it, whether it be the back or like whatever it is, for me in a sketch, that's part of the geography of the item. These weren't done on a printer because all of the art that we're seeing on this set was painted and then was photographed and put on. So I like seeing that some of the cards have been attacked by an artist. And I think we got to bring one more person in here to ask how they feel about the backs of these cards. Mr. Justice.
Hey, what's going on?
I like the back if it's signed.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point too. So Jake's question was some of the cards that are on the back show some wear from the artists working on it. What are your thoughts about it, Justin?
Well, I mean, I think because I don't think that sketches should be graded, I'm totally okay with them being in a slab. But because I don't think they should be graded just by virtue of what it is, a damaged card with pen and ink and paint, you know, whatever, markers, that, I don't mind knowing that Bill Sienkiewicz went to town on it and like really, you know, poured himself into the card. I kind of like that. Although I will say I have a lot of respect for watching, say, Miles Wool delicately handle the cards, and he uses real precisionness when he's painting. And so I appreciate that as well, but it doesn't bother me. If now what I will say, if an artist gives me a half-hearted sketch and then fumbles with the card in a disrespectful way, I wouldn't want that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So is that part of your process to go to town on it, or are you just being disrespectful to the card? I think would be the real question.
I want to go circle to what you were saying about no signature. The no signature thing is beyond irritating, and it maybe it leads to a conversation of a little bit of people who are very familiar with them guessing at who it is. For the rest of us, it just sucks. Please sign the cards.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, to Matt Fuller, who these he knows their fingerprints. He can ID them from a fingerprint. It's for him, it's fine. But the rest of us, give me your signature, and then can you spell it out in print for me to know? But no,
I will say identifying from text in a chat is the first time I've ever done that tonight. So that was a new one for me.
Wow, that is impressive.
That's really good. I mean, it's one of the cool things about sketch cards is getting familiar with the different styles that artists have and being able to recognize it from them. For myself, I'm not great at it, but I've gotten much better at it. And it's been one of the cool things in the hobby that I never thought I was going to learn. I was envious when I would see people that were able to do that. And now that I've started, I know 1% of it now, but that 1% was a big percent, and it's made me enjoy the hobby more.
Well, and I mean, an artist's name is their brand. Their art is their brand, and I think it's important, from an artist standpoint, to brand your cards with your signature. If you're not going to spell out your name, at least give us that symbol of your signature that lets us know that that's you, right? And that because at least we can identify that.
Yeah.
I suspect some of it is they're rushing to meet the deadline, and literally they've got the FedEx in front of them, and it's due at 4 p.m. and they're putting the finishing touches and just throw them in the box and get them out the door.
100% agree with that. And I'll add, as someone who has not been in a rush to sketch something, who still managed to sketch upside down on the card.
Thank you. That's why I knew it was going here. Yeah.
I can respect that if I had to get out 50 of them in 20 days, that, I might have forgot to turn it over and sign the back.
So the upside down thing, when I first saw that there were upside down sketch cards, I was so critical. I think a lot of people are when they first see it. And I did a product for the Rocketeer release. And the first card that I did was upside down. And I was like, wow, that's really impressive. And I've done it multiple more times from them. So now I totally understand how that could happen. And it's unfortunate. So on cards, when I do them now in very light pencil, I write up.
You write up?
I write up. So
on the card?
On the card in pencil. So when I do my sketch afterwards, I just erase it. Because I've done it enough times now where it's rather embarrassing. There you go. You
should have signed one of them for me.
I should have signed one of them for you. I didn't even think of that. Oh, you got a bunch of them. Good. I'm so glad those arrived. Justin, I know what you're thinking. Wow, this guy sends sketch cards better than he sends PMG's package. Sorry about that.
Dude, hey, look, I'm so grateful for that PMG. I appreciate it very much, which I sold for $1,500, by the way.
Fantastic.
So I'm very pleased.
That was the first time doing. That was this brings us to our conversation. That was the first sketch I've ever pulled. I know Justin was always shocked that I had never pulled a sketch. And then in that stream on the box before yours, I pulled my first sketch, which was a really different feeling. From someone that's never pack pulled one, getting to pull one was a really exciting feeling. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it's fascinating watching people that are new to Marvel cards react to sketches and then have to learn that it's really not as big a deal as it feels to them. For the most part, obviously, you could pull one that is a big deal, right? But it's like, wow, look, a one of one, a sketch, and the people are like, that's nothing,
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference between it may not be that big of a deal financially, but there's that you're never going to have that first sketch pull again, right? And
I was pretty excited.
Yeah,
I was pretty excited.
And I still, how many years later? 12, 2015. I still remember my first sketch card.
What was your first sketch card, Matt?
So it was from Lord of the Rings Masterpieces 2. It was just a black and white sketch of the Tree of Gondor.
Cool. Oh, I've asked you that before. Actually,
Yeah.
you did mention that before.
Yeah.
What are some notable sketches that you've pulled, Matt, where you were like, "Oh man, this is like they got you excited"? What products were they in?
Oh my God. Where do I begin? I think the first Liddy Lee I pulled in MM 2016, I was like, there's something special here. And I immediately started going after Liddy Lee as an artist. A lot of the artists I collect heavy, it was the first one from them, like the first Cat L'Orange I pulled, the first Toma, the first Butch Mappa. Yeah, a lot of times it's when it's a new artist that I've never seen before, and it's just something about it. I'm like, this is special, and it starts me on a journey. So I think it's rather than any. I don't know that there's any one card that just stands out though, as far as a pull that didn't start me on a journey. I know I've pulled at least one or two Fredians. I pulled plenty of Glebes. So. Ooh, Chris McJunkin.
This is my first ever sketch that I pulled.
Really?
It was on e-pack with Masterpieces. I mean, I remember thinking, oh, wow, I just hit a major card, right? And without knowing what I was doing, I moved it over to ComC and somehow put it up for auction. I don't know, but it and which I was so disappointed. I probably can find the emails where I'm like, ComC, you accidentally sold my card, but somehow because it sold for $61, and I was so mad that my first sketch card sold, and then to see it sell for $61, I was like, I got robbed.
Not the first time I've heard of this blunder happening with the ComC accidental shipping over. That's so unfortunate. And it just speaks to how user-friendly these websites are right now.
Right. Yeah, but anyhow,
ridiculous.
That was my first one.
Interesting. Recently, I've been noticing that when I make offers on sketch cards, people are wanting a lot more for a sketch card. So for my character, I've been noticing for a sketch that I would typically have wanted to pay about $70 for, people are wanting more in the range of $100. Is this because people have caught on that sketch cards are about to become rare, or has the community grown that desires them? Matt,
I think there's a third option in there. So,
okay.
And I think it's a factor of all of them. So, yes, to just in general, I think people are getting into the fact that sketches have an intrinsic value. I think there are definitely more people on the demand side who are interested in sketches, so that's driving prices. But I also do think that it's a combination of new people in the hobby combined with the prices. And I think we're still in the early days of seeing a lot of these new collectors just looking at them as a means to recoup perhaps the spend they've done, and rather than research the market for what it might really be worth, they're just slapping an arbitrary huge number on it. Right. And I think you're seeing a lot more these days of what, at least from my perspective, and I'm not telling anyone how to purchase their cards, but unreasonable prices that I don't think you're going to sell. So I think it's going to take a while for them to sit until people say, okay, I need to really understand what's the real market for this card. So I think there's going to be a lot that just sit there for a long time.
May I ask a question, Greg?
Absolutely, friend.
Well, so Matt, what would you say is like the floor price that a sketch should, in a sense, never sell for less for, because it's, an officially licensed card? We're assuming this is an approved pack inserted sketch. Like what should be a floor price?
For most sketches, I would say $40 maybe. But I mean, there are definitely some few and far between, but there are some where you'd be lucky to get $20 for it, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a few examples of that. So 40 feels like a decent.
Yeah. We're not trying to
floor.
go to the far extreme, but like just a general floor, 40. So what's the next price point? If that's the floor, what's that next tier? Is it just like $5 increments, like 45,
No,
55?
I'd say there's a whole bunch that'll be in that 40 to 50.
Mhm.
I think there'll be a tier in the 60 to 75 range.
Mhm.
That'll probably be the biggest chunk, I would suspect. If I was
Mhm.
just in my head, I'm graphing this on the fly.
Yeah.
Then you've got a batch at 100, and I think at this point you're going down the curve. 100,
Mhm.
then it start even out 150, where once you hit 1,000, you're at like 4 or 5 deviations out, right?
Right. Can I add to the question?
Sure.
So, what if it's an anime volume 1 sketch? What should the floor price be?
That one probably does shift the whole. It's probably the same general curve, but yeah, rather than starting with the floor at 40, maybe the floor is at like in that 60 to 75 belt.
Can you tell the audience like why you do think that floor shifts?
I think it's less the stock. It's just my own experience with the set in particular. I think the artists were a little freer, and I think as a result, you're just for that set, the average quality is just that much better. There are very few, let's just call dog water sketches in anime. Very, very few. Whereas on you get a bigger percentage on other sets.
So how would you adjust that floor mentality based on the pack odds of how often you pulled? Example, Masterpieces 16, 18, and 2020 had a sketch per box. For 2022, it appears to be about 4 sketches per case. So every 3 boxes, right? Or no, 3 sketches per case every 4 boxes. Or say like Anime Volume 2, whereas it appears to be, a case and a half. And I think there was 16 boxes in a case or something like that. Like, how do you adjust it based on the rarity of even pulling one?
I don't, until you get to the super rare, like a platinum, I really don't think that moves the needle too much, to be honest.
I agree with you on that.
I think it's still more about quality. All things being equal, less sketches should mean average quality goes up, right? Because they're much pickier about the artists. Ideally, they have more time. They're going to be pickier through QA. So you could tie it to the number of sketches, but I think that is just a proxy for the average quality. Whether that's always worked, I don't know whether it's a 1-to-1 correlation, but.
Well, today I was commissioning a sketch artist. I'm not going to say who, but a big name, big expensive sketch artist for AP, and was given an array of blanks to choose from, true AP blanks.
Yep.
But on that list was Marvel Masterpieces, Premiere, and Anime Volume 2. And the artist wanted more for the Premiere and Masterpieces sketches, but I actually went with, what's that?
Yeah, I know why.
Yeah, I went with the Anime Volume 2 because they're just more difficult to get. They're rarer in my opinion. Now I did wrestle with the fact that how is the art going to present on the sketch itself? Anime does have more going on in the front, and I had to wrestle with that aspect of it. But for my personal collection, I feel like I'm going to need the anime sketch stock more than the Masterpieces and Premiere because of the opportunity to get quality sketches from that product.
Yeah. So I know a lot of artists price the thicker stock higher, right? That's why they do that. I don't know that that's always the case, but they associate that with being premium set just because it's thicker.
And I would do it based on how many APs I got.
Yeah.
If I only had 3 APs from Volume 2, but I had 12 from Masterpieces, I would price the APs higher on the 3 for anime.
Right. And now for me, I would potentially choose the anime, but my qualification would be I'm only going to pick the anime if the subject or the style matches anime, right? I'm going to want either a chibi style or I'm going to want some reference to an anime, right? Mine is always, does the image match what's there? Like, if that's why I don't particularly like MCU APs, because I'm not getting a likeness done.
Right.
That's not what I do. So to me, a comic image on an MCU stock just doesn't sync
But
up that way.
what if that artist did in their pack inserted sketches did a style that wasn't exactly anime, but that is what their art represents in the pack inserted sketches?
I mean, if that's what they do the whole time, then that's what you expect. You're not going to ask them to change their style, certainly.
Gotcha.
And again, that's just me. There's that my preference doesn't at all indicate what you should or shouldn't do.
Well, I've wrestled with the thought that you're thinking through right now, because I really don't want a chibi. I got a Peach Momoka chibi magic, so I don't need that. So anyways, because I'm seriously have wrestled with that thought today, and I was like, but I don't really want the masterpieces or premiere stock unless I feel like I'm violating what the anime stock means from a style standpoint.
No, I mean, it's a high-end artist, you get what you get, right? You're going to be happy with it.
Yeah.
It's interesting that so I don't have any interest in APs from cardstock. I have no desire to own an AP and go through the submission process. When I get something done from an artist, I like it done on their cardstock. Frequently, when I get an image done by somebody, it's done on their PSC card. So whether that just be a double-sided white blank or something that they have prepared, and I enjoy getting those ones because I love the pack inserted cards that come on the cardstocks that we've discussed here, and I have no desire to try to cater my wants to it, because part of the enjoyment I get from it is having no say. All I get to have is an opinion if I buy. I like having no input in it. To me, it makes it something that's out of my control completely, and I just decide if I like it or not, if that makes sense. And when I want something catered more to my taste, I go strictly with the PSC from that artist.
Oh yeah, that's been an ages-long debate in the sketch collector community, right? For people back in the day, a lot of collectors and a lot of, I'll call them old school collectors who've been around since, Marvel back to the Sketchograph days, putting together master sets would think APs were cheating. And they want that. They want the chase of finding the set artist character combo they want that's out there in the wild, and there's only one of them, and that's part of the chase.
Right. And I know that APs are considered a part of the set. I don't view it as cheating at all or any of that. I think that it is very cool. And part of the survival of sketch card artists is having these APs to do. And I think that that's a fantastic thing. I just never find that very many of these artists have a hard time selling out their APs. No one's missing my business in it. So whenever these APs are gone, for me, I really enjoy getting a couple of examples. I really like getting a PSC from them. A couple of examples. I've had a sketch card done before where the card was shown to me completed, and I really hated the background. It just wasn't for me. And if it was on a different cardstock, I would have felt bad asking them to change it. And in this particular one, I just asked them to color it out. And I didn't feel terrible doing that because it was just a PSC. I don't know if that makes it any better. Maybe I'm a terrible person. Maybe I'm going straight to hell when I die. I don't know.
I hope not. For me, when I first came into the hobby, APs didn't feel like they were as valuable to me because they didn't have that random, out of control aspect that you mentioned, where somebody had to buy the box, open the pack, rip it, reveal it for me to even know it existed, and then have an opportunity to get it, or had to pull it myself. AP kind of felt like, a made to order, not as rare. And I don't actually hold the same opinion today. My current opinion of APs, especially in light of where the hobby's headed, is it's essentially like a more rare parallel to a sketch. So you have like the base card, which is your pack inserted sketch, which is great, right? But then you have this AP version, which is it's just like a variant, and there's less of those. And let's say for every 100 blank pack inserted sketches, you have, 10 APs. I don't know what the real ratio is per set, but whatever it is, they're more rare. And probably depending on artists, you get a higher quality sketch. And so when you couple that with this last little bit of information, which is for the most part, and there are exceptions, they're also Marvel approved, published sketches in the sense, because they had to go through the approval process. Not all of them, and there are exceptions, but they're, but if it goes the normal process, it's just as official as the pack inserted.
So, Donnie, I have yours on a list I want to get through on a couple of the older ones, absolutely. But I will touch on that. The other reason why I like APs is it's also changed collecting for me, because not only are you getting what you want from an artist specifically, but you're also meeting that artist and you're becoming part of their process and becoming friends with them. And that completely changes how you collect cards, because now it's about relationships as well, and
right.
Supporting that process. So absolutely.
Keep talking. I want to read a message that I'm from an artist. I'm not going to reveal who they are, but to your point, Matt, it just kind of changes the way that you're experiencing the art. So
Donnie's question here was, what about sketch cards that are assigned a character? What's the floor? Oh, I see. So you're saying like a Premiere card that has, say, Vision, for example, on it or whatever.
Great example. Because the floor depends on the character, I think. Look, I'm sure there are people who collect them, but just from what I've seen in market prices, if the card is Vision or Falcon, or
Hercules.
Yeah, I mean, there's some characters that just don't have big followings, except for present company included, and that those will have a lower floor than like a Spider-Man card or a Wolverine card. So that changes. That's within. So while Premiere might in general have this curve, within their individual characters will certainly slide to the left or the right of the standard deviation of the mean. Yeah, for sure.
That was a really good question, Donnie. And sorry, I misunderstood what your comment was there. And I am so wrapped up in listening to this, I'm missing some of the comments.
TJ had a good question as well too. He said, "How have them finding unicorn sketches been selling?" And to be honest, I've really only seen in mass there's one seller who seems to be getting them all. It seems like the vast majority are selling on Asian marketplace platforms that at least I don't have access to. So there's one guy who sells them. They might be slightly problematic for some reasons, but that's all I'm going to say. I don't know how well they're selling, though. I've gotten a few APs, but that's about it. I've other than seeing some on eBay, I really couldn't tell you.
I got one of the greatest APs I've ever received on Finding Unicorn cardstock.
Is it Jane? Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I'm not even familiar with the cardstock. I don't think I know. I don't think I've even seen.
Do you mind if I grab it?
No, absolutely. Show off Jane.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this comment, and I'm gonna grab those. So, this artist said, just in reference to the AP sketch, I've been chipping away at the sketch card in between work. I wanted it to be perfect, so I've been taking my time with it. It should be ready to ship out by next week. And I'm just like to hear that level of effort and care and desire to make it perfect. I'm very excited about that.
And you know what else is nice about that, though? And this could segue into a whole different conversation that I won't get into, but the artist taking the time to not only explain that, but that also is them saying, hey, I know it's taking a little longer than intended, but they are pushing that information to you rather than forcing you to pull it and say, hey, where's this delay? So that's an artist who knows what the hell they're doing right there.
It's wonderful. All right, I'll be right back.
It brings up an interesting point there too, Matt. I mean, just because you're great at art doesn't necessarily mean you're great at business. And there can be a real challenge in dealing with artists where there are people who just are phenomenal talents, and then not necessarily the best at communicating with their clients. And I know that that's a bridge that can be challenging for people to cross in the AP world. Part of the reason I stay clear of APs in a way is feeling as though I'm spending that kind of money and then possibly having this communication issue is another reason where when I do a PSC, I'm not losing too much sleep over maybe a bad month of hearing back from them.
Yeah, and some of these guys, especially if they've been doing, just casual art and they come into this, I still remember this one artist. I saw their work. I'm like, hey, do you have a piece? They're like, oh, I have 4. I'd love to commission all 4. I'm like, how much would it be? And they're like, 40. I'm like, okay, 40 each. And they responded, no, 40 total. Is that too much? And I'm like, dude, no. I'm like, how about we do $50 per card? And they were like, what? Like, your art is good. Don't undersell yourself.
That's right. It's definitely an interesting world dealing with artists. It can be a really frustrating one. It can be an area where that's why we're having the conversation a bit about pricing things tonight, because I think a lot of people have a challenge in pricing these items from the artist point of what to charge, somebody trying to figure out how to sell something that they've pulled. All of it can be challenging. So maybe tonight we're shedding a little bit of light on starting points for you guys to price something rather than just throwing a number out and hoping for the best.
Right.
All right, I've got it if you're ready.
Okay, let's check it out, Justin.
Can you make
Oh
it
my
big?
goodness. Let's make you big here.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe pull it out of the just because we see the reflection. I know you don't want to dare touch it, but
Yeah, I know. But I can do that for
there
everybody.
you go. Look at that.
Beautiful.
That's Jane. Was it Manalo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Now-
on
Would she go by Art of Jane on Instagram?
Art of Jane. Yeah,
Yep.
she's incredible.
Yeah,
Amazing.
follow her if you haven't.
And
She's great work.
That's on, and I asked her to do this, and I asked her to do it on the Infinity stock because it was the first release that Finding Unicorn did, and I just told her to do what she wanted to do. I didn't ask for anything specific, and this is what she came back with. I mean,
Someone just claimed it.
yeah, claim.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on, guys, that is
That's
to
a
me
great
that's
card.
just unbelievable.
Justin, you had a great video at one point about a sketch card commission you got
Hmm.
that came in a package you had to rip like a card back.
It was that one.
It was that one. That was what, and
Yeah.
when I saw that, I was like, that is brilliant. That
But
just
these, like, oh, how about this? How about the artist who made boxes?
Marlo.
amazing. I mean, it's just so interesting to me and so clever.
So it's the prelim work for the sketch,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then you pull out the actual sketch, which I have here. I have one of them. The magic is in the binder, but and by the way, he gave me this one for free to go with it. Like I didn't even ask for this one, and it's on his own card stock. I've ordered 3 of them, and I ordered 2 of them. And he gave me a 3rd sketch. So
Wow.
that's a different experience that you don't get, with pack and serve sketches, obviously. So
Much to the sense of humor of all of the crazy people that watch this channel, they started their own
Hashtag
giveaway for your
uh-huh.
for AP.
uh,
Those are
But-
beautiful. Justin. Thank you for sharing those.
can I share just 1 or 2 more here?
Yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely.
So-
Imagine we said no. Imagine how pissed people would be. If
I'd
we
be
said no.
fine. This is your show. I
Of course,
have all
'cause
kinds of
Matt's
respect.
going next.
So this was on eBay. It's not something I was looking for, but I was like, it's too cheap, in my opinion. I was like,
Oh, it's that Omeng.
yeah, like
You're wild, Matt.
How can you not? Once you know that style, how could you
Fair
not?
enough.
know that
Fair
is?
enough. No, for real.
Right.
For real.
but I think I got it for like $40.
Can we see the back, Justin? And there's one that was not used as a frisbee or a coaster while they were drawing it. It looks really good.
Right.
They do. Their stock is very good.
It's a solid piece of stock. Yeah,
Wow,
it
is it
is. It certainly is. And so, and then just 2 more here, guys. Just
Take your
I can
time.
show as many as you want, but
Take your
Like-
time.
I just want for this one, which is
Casey.
but when I think in the future when people realize there's maybe 15 of these that have AP stamp, see the AP stamp on the front,
Yeah.
like to me that's gonna be, how can it not, if you follow the historical norms of value, which rarity comes into play as it becomes mature and people understand it,
hmm
they're going to go, well, okay, if there's 100 that don't have the AP stamp and there's maybe less than 15 that do,
Right.
same artist, same set, same officialness about it. Like, how is that not more valuable? That's just my own personal opinion.
Mhm.
And I could certainly be wrong. I just don't think the hobby is big enough and mature enough for it to absorb that element, if that makes sense. Kind of think about it like this, like with TCG, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, they have made error cards the rarity because they had to chase rare, had to create rarity, not create it. They had, what was the thing that could differentiate between what's there's more of and less of? And so to me, that how does this not follow that line of thought as well? And then this one, this is on Spidey Hit stock, and it's not signed on the back, but he signed it on the front. And this is David Finch,
Beautiful.
who really doesn't do sketch cards very often, but this is a con sketch. So to me, like this is, I mean, I just love it. I don't care that it's not on Upper Deck. I don't care, anything else, but I love the fact that it's something he did for me personally. And so it's as valuable or as important as any other sketch that I have.
We have a question from Claus out here saying, how rare are platinum blanks? I'm going to say that they are non-existent.
Yeah.
That would make very
This
little
is how
sense.
this is how rare they are. Bill Sienkiewicz is doing his sketches. They gave him one AP and he accidentally sent it in with the pack inserted sketches. And it wasn't until somebody let him know that he should have an AP that existed, and he was able to get Upper Deck to give it back to him. They're that rare.
Yep.
Somebody's asking you, Justin, here, and Matt as well, how does your potential future value factor into your choice of sketch acquisitions?
For me, it's about 0%.
Nice. Then I would say that
I just collect. It has to appeal to me. I don't think I'm going to say this, but then I'm going to think about it throughout the show to make sure. I don't think I have ever purchased a stock just because I've said, "Oh, that's like a value and I can make money on that in the future." That's just not I collect. Like I don't say I'm just going to collect these big ones just for the sake of getting them. So my collection, my average card value is high. Some people collect that way. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's just not how I personally collect.
I'm in the same boat collecting Sabretooth. My cards typically that I get, I am the market for them. And I'm not really going to run into that for myself. I just buy them because I like them. But Justin's in a completely different boat collecting Spider-Man, where there's an infinite market for these. And Justin, you can answer for yourself, but this must factor into it to a degree.
Well, it's a layered and complex answer to what is a simple question. Do you factor in value or future value of a sketch? I only buy it if I like it first, like that. Like if I don't like it, then it's hard for me to even assume its value long term. An example would be, yes, there's a floor that I would pay for it, but for the Frank Miller sketches that are in Topps right now, there's nothing about it that appeals to me. And so I will not be buying it. And the future value of the thing is not important to me. Does that make sense? Now, if somebody offered it to me for $500 and I felt like that was like way too cheap, then yeah, that you're making me buy it price, right?
Yeah.
But if I like something, I think that it has appeal to it, then I naturally am thinking that it would have appeal down the road to someone else, like which would translate into a value, right? But am I thinking that somehow I'm going to flip this into some massive amount of money down the road? No. However, there's one other little component here. There are some people, and generally the people who have the really good stuff don't want money. They want sketches. Gotcha. And so I will buy and pick up sketches that I view as the ability to shake loose the actual thing I want.
Cool. Brilliant answer.
I've just, it's taken beating my head up against the wall to figure that out. But I have started to do that. Like, I know I can't get that sketch unless I have this sketch to replace it with for somebody else.
And Matt, has that worked for you as well? Do you have sketches that you own in the back of your mind because they're going to help you trade for Danny items?
No. I mean, if I could, that's one thing. I mean, and just so it's an interesting there's a dangerous side to that technique, though. And I can only use myself as the example. I did have someone one time who, so a sketch came up on eBay and they outbid me for it. And then 3 days later, they sent me a message saying, "Hey, do you want to trade for this?" And my answer was no. Yep. I'm not going to trade for that because I could have gotten it then. You got it only to trade for me. So to me, that's no difference than me selling it to you for money.
Got you.
Which I wasn't going to do. So I don't encourage that behavior personally.
So
that's just me, though. I'm weird. Don't.
Well, and for me, like I think you could hear that as like having a target, like a target collection that you're going at. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's not so much what I mean. What I mean is like, okay, I do think that this is the kind of sketch that I can use to acquire another sketch, right?
Yep. Yeah.
To me, that
you're talking more general than yeah. I've had one or two where they were so targeted, and I get it, and but
because we're known by our collection, that it's the Danny Moon,
Yeah, you'd be the same if you were bidding on a Magic and somebody beat you out for it, and then 3 days later they try to dangle it in front of you. It's if you've never had that experience, trust me, you scratch your head.
I already know that I'm not going to want the sketch.
Yeah, exactly.
It has no appeal at that point.
Yeah, because that's part of, I think, as a sketch collector, that's part of almost a survival mechanism, which is that once you've lost a sketch, you have to accept it. You're like, okay, I missed that one. I'll look for something else.
And in your analogy, you had already bid to what you were willing to do.
Yep, exactly.
And so it was past that, you were out. Like, no, I think that makes perfect sense.
Yep. Something I wanted to point out, we were talking about the floor for a sketch card. What's the minimum price that should really be charged for a pack inserted sketch? And on ePack recently, I found a hilarious Sabretooth sketch card. If you're the person that owns it, I apologize. I hope this isn't rude. But I sent them a message. I sent them a blank trade and an offer for it. And I said, can I give you $30 for this absolute piece of Picasso? And ePack blanked out Picasso. You know how they blanked out Picasso. So it looked like a worse word, but it was intended to be Picasso. And I really hope that ePack user sees this and doesn't think I'm a total dick. But I was making a joke. I was just kidding around.
Oh my god.
They didn't take the offer, by the way.
But, that's funny. I said the word killed in a comment on ePack and it blanked it out. But I meant like ended, like it killed it, like it ended. And
I meant Picasso. I don't know what Picasso did to Upper Deck, but he is banned for life on the
that doesn't make any sense.
Center in there. But anyone on ePack sending a message, do a test send of the word Picasso and see if it's just me they don't like or if it actually does.
Or better yet, someone go to Urban Dictionary and type in Picasso and tell us what it really means.
Oh, do we really want to know?
You know what? So I like that we were talking about the floor. Oh, here we go. We got a Magic sketch we're gonna have to look at here.
Oh, did your package show up, Justin?
Today, no.
Okay.
Is it supposed to? I wish it did. I'd love to show that right now. That would be
every single time you guys get mail. It seems to be a Joe Jusko painting. I can't wait to see this package either.
That's tomorrow.
I don't know that artist. That's a great one.
This is Ben Brady.
Oh, that's Ben Brady. All right.
So as someone who has not done a pack inserted sketch for Upper Deck, but obviously has done art for Upper Deck. And now I don't know that unless it's DC will ever get to do pack inserted sketches. But getting him to do one on my Spidey Hit sketch, like this is one of my very favorite Magic sketches, regardless of pack inserted AP or PCS or
Also to mention that Ben is one of the nicest men you will ever meet in your life. Just a pleasure to deal with.
1,000%.
Yeah, just an absolute pleasure to deal with. Nine, I'm glad you think I'm funny. I appreciate it.
Matt Fuller, do you have any of your OAX sketches you can show?
I can get them real quick.
Yeah, go get them. Let's pump OAX real quick.
There you go. And Matt, I want to see your platinum sketches.
I've got those ready.
Awesome.
Oh, he's got his platinum sketches?
Yeah, we're gonna see some platinum sketches here.
That's so cool.
Just in case anyone's wondering, I remember the streams back in the day when Matt Fuller's basement had a lot less artwork on the walls and a lot less stuff. And this man's collection has grown, as you can see here.
it's incredible.
Jeremiah is asking who in the chat's going to OAX, and he says that last week an EPAC user requested a trade for one of my cards and was not offering any cards. Didn't know that was a thing. So people do that. I don't think that's the best way to do it. Jeremiah, I'm going to comment on this. A great way to get an offer to somebody on EPAC is to open up the free packs. So have a couple of the free packs, open them and have those cards and send those as the trade. And in the message portion below, send your offer down there.
That binder is not where it should be.
Uh-oh. I thought
We
you
can
were
just do
like,
platinum ones then. It's okay, Matt. Don't
I
you worry.
thought you were like Scrooge McDuck, where you knew where every
I
sketch
did
was.
have it out a little bit ago, but
Do you ever think that in this hobby we're all just OCD like librarians? That's the
Yes.
hobby. Just Marvel's like a second part of it.
yeah, that's very weird. Let me take one more look.
Jeremiah, I'm glad that you like that point because I think that tip would help a lot of people on EPAC. The best tip that you can get on EPAC for getting a response from people is to be kind and to be professional and polite. That is the absolute best trick to get a response from people. But opening the free packs, the overpower, I don't remember what they are. They're just stupid cards. But you open up the free ones and then use those as your ones that you send as offers. And then in the message portion, add them there. Sending people messages just straight up in the message center, 80% of the time just gets lost on them because they've got to go into theirs and see what you're talking about and this, that, and the other. I haven't had a lot of success with that, but the way I just mentioned it is a good way of doing it. This doesn't happen too often on the channel where both guests just leave
Hey, yeah, right.
to go organize their homes. I'm not sure where.
I must have it upstairs somewhere.
Matt, I'm ready to see some of your platinum sketches as I think the 31
Sure.
people watching right now are.
I don't think I can share, since I'm not an admin, I don't think I can share a second
Yeah,
camera.
just use that. Oh, a second, because you're on your computer now.
So what I can do, though, I think I can just switch to it.
Okay. I'll have to add you as that on the
Oh, that's
on my
fine.
StreamYard. Oh, there we go. Wow, that's a beauty storm.
Yeah, so these are the Miles ones here are going to be tough. I'm gonna have to pull each one up one at a time. Since it's oil painted, the reflection can be really tough.
But they look even at that though.
Yeah.
I mean, Miles is. I love the videos that Miles posts of his process of him doing them.
Oh, you
That
got the
Ghost Rider.
storm.
Yeah.
That was the first one you got, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Ghost Rider was first. Then Luke. Or I can't remember who I got second, Blade or Luke.
And you got 3 of those on EPAC, right?
Yep.
Like, that is awesome.
Yep. That's a pre-sale.
There's a magic that she did that was pack inserted. Oh,
Yeah.
the guy won't do anything with it.
That's the nature of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's like, to me, that feels like an example of what I'm talking about. It feels like someone who doesn't want money, doesn't need money, but yeah, the only way I might be able to get it is to trade for it.
Touch of flair, cards and collectibles. I like your point here.
Yeah, no, I really wanted to get a Susie sketch because I have 2 of her OA from the set. So it's a nice combo.
You know, just because Matt was going to be the guest tonight, I was going through thumbnails and I had a Mystique one I wanted to use. And Matt, when we did a character break with Justin for Flair, you also got the Mystique character in that, and then you got the Jusco painting of Mystique. So I've started to sort of associate you as kind of a Mystique collector. What a great character to be interested in. That was one that I considered character collecting before Sabretooth.
She is a fantastic character,
Really is.
and especially when you can get one where it's got the transition in between the 2 of them. I mean, those are awesome. When they're done right, they're just great.
I mean, the Dan card in the Battle Spectra,
I know.
Forget it, man.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that the other Mystique didn't
that's
make
not
it
his
into the
best
set.
Mystique.
No.
True. That's
Dan
right.
did a second one, and I don't know that he's revealed it publicly yet, but because he almost revealed it on the channel the other night, and he decided to wait.
I thought he showed the head.
He showed part of it, but not
Yeah,
the full
right.
the full thing.
I can't remember if it came up in one of Fausto's streams or not.
Yeah, he may have done it.
Yeah, it's amazing though.
This is the one I have from her.
Nice. Yeah, so good.
Wow, very nice. Now I'm feeling like I should have brought my sketches downstairs.
She's awesome. I have one more piece from her that I am praying comes out in the last Upper Deck set.
Which one's that?
Matriarchs. At least maybe I think that's going to be the last. I'm not sure.
Let's talk quickly about the sketch cards we've been seeing from, say, the Rogue Gallery, from these sets that are not going to be coming out. What is happening with these cards? What are they? How come we're seeing them posted? Have they been shipped to Upper Deck to be lost forever? Did the artists hang on
Sketches,
to them?
you mean?
Yeah, they go back to Upper Deck, and again, on paper they are, since they're not officially licensed and they won't be released. I suspect, again, I haven't seen the contract. Maybe there's a clause or a workaround in this, but I believe if it doesn't get published, that the cards are supposed to be destroyed. That's the case with what happens when they're not approved. And I would argue that in theory, these sketches therefore won't be approved because there is no set. Now, whether they really, two people, and I don't know which one signs them.
Manu has a funny question here. We got to answer this. Fuller, can you answer this?
Yeah, so it's Fred and Ian, the brothers. And is it Fred that signs them?
I would think so.
Yeah.
He seems to be the dominant personality.
That's a great question. And Donnie says that sketches make me want to go draw and get better. And this is a crazy good point I want to touch on. Look at how many people in the Marvel hobby on screen, in the chats and everything, have picked up where they left off drawing as a result of feeling so inspired by the artwork that we get to witness as possible on these little cards. And Donnie, you are someone whose artwork went from good to unbelievable in a very short period of time. Makes me very suspicious. No, I'm kidding.
Who's he hiring in the background to do his art?
You know, and I'm not sure who you have chained up in your basement doing those cards for you, but they look so good. And
yeah, Dre, how much for you to do a sketch and put my name on it?
Yeah, that's right.
What was that movie, Limitless, where they take the pill? Is that it?
Yeah,
I could do some of that.
It's great. It's a great point to say that people are feeling inspired by these sketches, and I'm sure the artists are thrilled to hear that their work isn't just being collected, but it's also inspiring like more creativity.
Yep.
All right, so here's the cancel set. This is the EX.
Yeah, I've
set
got one
that was supposed to come out.
But let's not reveal the artist.
Yeah.
Or unless if it was approved, I suppose you can. But
it was approved. This set has been canceled.
Yeah.
I've been given permission by the artist to share it, but I won't do that. But that's one of them, and you can see it's clear or acetate on the sides, almost like a die cut.
Cool.
And so that one's cool.
I can't believe how many canceled sets there are. It's actually, there are inserts other than sketches. I'm furious we're going to miss out on here.
Yeah, I got a Rogues Gallery that was approved actually literally just today.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I have Rose Galleries that are approved that are coming soon, hopefully.
Touch the Flare card asked here. Just going to so we did kind of mention this, is that as a result of contracts and things like that, that's why the cards will be isolated or whatever they're going to do with it. It's based on a contract thing, not out of necessarily what we think they should do.
I mean, the problem with that process is it's humans, right?
Yes.
And I said this on a different stream before, like that was supposed to happen with Cryptozoic before. And like 7 years later, these like 1,000 supposedly destroyed sketch cards hit the market.
Yep.
So,
oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of these sketches have been turned in. Like,
and the artists weren't paid for them. The artists were told, you're not getting paid and we're destroying them. And all of a sudden, turns out, oh, we didn't destroy them. We saved them.
Well, I will say this. I have heard that Upper Deck has paid these artists on the ones that are being canceled.
Yes. Now, I've heard the same.
You know, for what it's worth. But it's really, I mean, it's not the same because the compensation is little, the notoriety and exposure is what really creates the opportunity to get increased revenue and in the future. But they did get paid something.
The drama involved in some of these stories. Also, like going to what Fuller was just saying, with the cards that were apparently destroyed and then hit the market. I cling to these stories like for my existence. They get me through the day. Just the Ocean's 11 heist that had to have gone down in a ComC warehouse dressed in all black to smuggle these things, or employees doing whatever. And it just seems that between grading and all of it, like Justin was just saying, the human element of this, you can't make this stuff up. Like, this is a Disney Plus documentary waiting to happen.
Yeah, and when you realize, like, if people still only knew the half of it, like, there's still stuff that's not going to be shared on the screen.
There's been sketchy stuff for a long time. A friend of ours, Jacob, I remember there was a few sets ago, there were two artists he was really, really waiting for. One, I think, was Danny Kwong. So real high-end artists, and their cards never showed up in either physical or EPAC. And it was the fact that it was two of them and they were both high-end. I mean, again, if it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. You know, somebody there took them, and we'll probably see them in 10 years.
I'm going to touch on some comments in the chat here because I knew when I put this shirt on and I buttoned up one too many buttons that you guys were going to roast.
I was like, I missed the fact this was a business meeting. You know?
Well, they're giving me the.
I know, you skateboarder.
They're giving me the gears in here. And I love that you guys are doing the Blood In, Blood Out movie here, and those locos forever. I can't believe you guys watch the same movies as me. Those are great movies, and we are obviously all from the same generation. And I'll wear whatever damn shirt I want on mine, because as I get dressier, that means it is closer to laundry day. So I start dressing up when I'm like putting off laundry for a week, and do some more buttons up before I get the laundry done on the weekend.
All right, I grabbed my platinums if you want to see them.
Okay, let's do it. Absolutely.
Okay, so if I need to take these out, I can, but that's the
looks good. Looks good.
Ron Lim.
Lim was number 6, who I couldn't remember at the beginning of the show. There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
The Halloween Spider-Man, I'm calling it.
That's a great one.
Yeah,
it's actually a different pose.
This is I do need to take out. I actually really like this one. To see it in person is a different experience, in my opinion. But this is another AP. But for platinum, I wanted to get a pack insert and an AP, pack inserted AP, to pair them up again.
Nice.
And I had to buy these in a pair to get the Spidey. That's how I got the Miles too at the same time. And then the other one.
Oh, there you go, Jerry. That's interesting.
We're going to touch on this comment, Jerry, as soon as Justin shows the next one. Here.
That was 2 more. So.
Oh my goodness, that one is.
That's the grade on that one.
Is that kind of a Grail card in your collection of Magic, Justin?
No, because of the next one.
Okay, bye. No, I'm just kidding.
You can't have multiple Grails.
It's true too.
I'm not a huge fan of the word Grail, but
fair enough.
Not that it's a bad word. It's just
if you could only have one for that set, certainly
this is it.
With no disrespect to Miles, I think Miles would pick Bill as well.
Yeah, I am enormously grateful to have the Miles, but this is the pack inserted Magic from Bill.
That's a special card.
Yeah,
very special. We were talking earlier about seeing brushstrokes and the process and all of that. This card is a great example of that, where I feel like, this screams art to me. This one, I really like that.
Yeah,
I don't know that I'll ever own a better sketch for Magic personally, but it's double signed, which I just adore. Signed on the front and the back.
I want to touch on Dre's comment here real quick. It says, Matt, read this. This is a clause in the contract that says that even though cards are approved, there is no guarantee that they will be included in all of the releases, and that they may be used for other purposes, such as coasters, frisbees, or XL masterpiece. No, I made that last part up. But
employee gifts, they could be. Maybe that's their bonus this year in lieu of cash. They used to do that back in the day. The employees would get sketches every year.
and I would imagine, and possibly even like replacement items given out to people.
Yeah, it would be fascinating though if they could give them away again because of the licensing. I would love that original contract with Marvel. Oh, I would pay for it.
Yep. Yeah, I would love to do a stream with you and go through it together. Can I respond to the put them in a one touch?
Yes, absolutely.
So these are in a much better place than a one touch because they're in my master character collector binder. So they're in a top loader in the binder with the rainbow of platinum, which I'm now down to 3 cards.
Wow, Justin, you've been busy.
And the 3 cards are 1 of 1s and out of 5s. So
yeah. Fuller, we haven't touched base about how you were kind of doing with Danny. We had joked a little while during Platinum that Platinum made up a third of the Danny cards that existed.
The base cards, yeah.
How did you make out with collecting Platinum for your character?
Let me pull up my spreadsheet.
There you go. I forgot who I was dealing with here.
This is a real master.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So specifically on Platinum. So there are, let's see.
Dre says he'll allow the top loaders. Sorry.
4 cards, not 3. Sorry, 4.
All right. I am missing. What am I missing here? I'm missing 1 of the 4 golden treasures. So I have 3 of the 4 1 of 1s.
Mm-hmm.
I have, I believe, a plate.
3 of the 4 1 of 1s, guys.
Yes.
Just to make sure I know we just said it fast, but
and I think other than that, the only thing I'm missing are a couple plates. I think I have 4 plates. Yeah,
I'm not jealous at all. You can tell I'm not jealous in the slightest.
No, you're a good friend. You're a good friend.
That's right.
Can I show my spreadsheet?
Absolutely.
The placeholders.
I like the placeholders. So I do have an amber. It's on EPAC. So
nice.
I'm missing 1 amber and then the 3 1 of 1s, but everything else is here.
This has been such a fun year of collecting with all of you guys.
Yeah. And but for me, these are the most important 1 of 1.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me, Justin, that you've got a binder going where you've got your platinum collection. Because for me, I've got a show called Binder Nights. I love showing binders and how I'm collecting. Anything under 25, I typically don't put in my binder. I have in a magnetic top loader that goes in a Pelican case. But there are cards in there that are of 15 that I put in there. And I'm always interested in how people make the decision of what's going to go in a binder and what's going to go elsewhere. That's what's so fun about curating all this, is everyone has their own method.
Yeah, if I had the bill should be in whatever top thing you would put something in, but to me it still goes in the binder. And I remember I saw an image of Mr. Fuxham, whatever his real name is. Alan. Thank you, Matt. I remember whenever the controversy happened where the 1 of 1 Wolverine precious metal gem, which was an achievement.
Yep.
Not just any Wolverine. You had to achieve it on EPAC. I think you had to collect 1 of every purple, green. You had to collect every version of a PMG for the entire set to get the 1 of 1 PMG gold Wolverine, Old Man Logan, to be more specific. And one showed up on eBay and sold for like 50 grand. And we were all like blown away, and then was wondering what kind of evil devilry was happening, because Alan would never sell his Wolverine. And then all of a sudden this image shows up of, I think it was a video of Alan flipping through his binder, and there it was, the gold 1 of 1 precious metal gem achievement Wolverine, Old Man Logan. And I was like, what is a $50,000 card doing in a binder? And but I kind of get it now on this side of it, because all I could see was the money then.
Yeah.
Right. But for him, it was about the whole experience, the whole collection. Yep.
Right.
And for it not to be in the binder would to be not to be in the collection. Right.
Right.
And by the way, the other card was apparently backdoored out of Upper Deck. Upper Deck had to basically buy the card back, if I understand it, and destroy it.
Yep.
And so,
which is leading to the drama that's going to be on Disney Plus during the documentary about
the documentary is going to be so much fun and crazy. But my point is like I now feel closer to him than the oh my god, why is it in the binder?
Mm-hmm.
That could be another show. Oh my god, why is it in the binder?
I would follow that documentary, and you would definitely need to get Manu on that 9.9, and you would definitely need to get oh my god, Neo, because he's been covering some of the recent scandals.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'd watch the hell out of that show.
Same. That was exactly what I was thinking when I was talking about the drama. Was man, the Neo Cards channel is keeping.
There you go, proof of discussion. Exactly. Oh god.
There's just so much to follow that's going on. I appreciate having the binder conversation because it's something I rack my brain around of when I get a card and I'm looking at a spot in my binder. I'm like, does this actually go in there? I put a lot of thought into it, and my cards end up moving around a lot. I've cut things out of slabs in the past. I know you guys have as well. Now I've been keeping stuff in slabs because in my mind I can only cut it out once, and I'll never send anything away to get graded. There's one card that's come up that I want to talk about here that doesn't have to do with sketches, but I think is relevant to the conversation we've been having. And that's the redemptions that are on EPAC right now for MM22.
Yep.
I know that a lot of people are super excited about the redemptions. I got one today and I'm very excited about it. And then I had a panic moment where I realized that they expire, and they expire at the end of December. And it says it on the cards. So why don't we have a chat about this? You guys are both aware of this, obviously.
Yep.
So you can't redeem a redemption on EPAC. You will need to mail it to yourself and scratch it away and get the number in there. With the license going away, I'm especially nervous about making sure I get mine in on time.
Yeah, I would do it to be safe. I have sent redemptions in late and always gotten them. So I think that's just them covering themselves. They could, if they wanted to, they can redeem it after the fact, obviously.
For sure.
And I would suspect, since the card already exists out there for the redemption, I'd be shocked if something in the license agreement said they couldn't redeem it. That would be a weird interpretation of any contract, I would think.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah. I want my uncut sheet.
Send it a year in just to be safe, for sure.
Yeah, I suspect that Upper Deck wants as clean of a break as they can create, but understand there's going to be loose ends to tie up after the fact. One of those loose ends that will never be untied is EPAC. Mm-hmm. Marvel cards are going to be on there, and they've already spoken to that. They've already said, hey, the collaboration, which I thought was an interesting way to say it, the collaboration with Marvel might be ending, but anything that's in this system of EPAC is still going to keep working as its function. You can still achieve and redeem and do all on EPAC. So there's going to be an element of that. It's just part of their business. It just happens to be the Marvel card.
Right.
But if it was me personally, I would start some type of communication with Upper Deck that says, hey, acknowledge that I have this, acknowledge that it just came out on EPAC, and acknowledge that you're saying I have 2 months to get it done, and I have to follow the normal course of you shipping it to me, which is going to take 2 weeks, and then getting it to you. Like, am I good? Yes or no?
Yeah. One of the other follow-up questions that I kind of wanted to touch on, and I'm sure the answer to this is yes. I've never graded a card in my life, and I want the first and maybe only card I ever grade to be the redemption card. So
really?
I don't have to send that in. I just have to give them the number, right? But then that could be my only graded card, right? If I wanted to, they would grade that.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why not. I have 2 redemptions I sent in. I didn't grade them, but when I saw them, I had Dan sign both of the redemptions. So I've signed redemption cards.
That are slabbed.
No, I haven't slabbed them yet. No.
Okay.
This guy
so I'm only slabbing either my, I was going to say my highest end cards or my Danny cards, but I wonder if those could,
What about you, Justin? What are your thoughts on grading a redemption card?
I think the fact that Matt mentioned getting it signed is great. I think the idea of grading it is dumb.
Yeah.
I think authenticating the card and the signature is 100% the way to go.
Gotcha.
And your name is Graydon, so why are you not grading everything?
Well, yeah, that's right. We're gonna have to kick you out of here. Sorry, buddy. But
hey, I bring the dad jokes.
It's where I live. So in the North Pole, it is very hard to send things away to do anything. It's and
friends.
That's true. That is totally true. I should look into that more. I think that's a phase of collecting for me that's down the road. Maybe we'll see. But if I'm going to do one for the first one, I want to do the redemption card, and I want to try it out.
I think for that one in particular, I think Justin hit it on the head, because if you think about it, we're saying don't grade sketches because the surface is damaged. Scratching off the number, I mean, obviously you're going to get like a 2 because of the surface.
You can't trust what they're going to give you.
Social experiment to see what happens with it. It'd be an interesting experiment.
I mean, I have a sketch. I have sketches in here that have they're just dumb. The grades that are wrong. Like, I should have never did it, but I did. I would just get it authenticated. But I went through this process, coming into the hobby, not knowing how I wanted to collect, where I was like, everything went like I had to put something in a one touch as fast as possible, only because I was waiting on PSA to hopefully put it into a slab. And I've kind of come back to this other place where I'm like, unless it's my high end Spidey stuff, where I think authenticating is preserving it correctly,
right?
Then I'm not as interested in putting into a slab. So Spidey gets graded.
Yeah,
I'm not as much worried about the grade. The card is what matters to me in that. And then Magic goes in the binder for the master character collection.
I've never graded a sketch, and I've probably freed about a dozen of them.
Freed. Have you guys ever screwed up a card freeing it from its encapsulated home?
No. I came up with I have a technique I did on the road, which is now the only way I'll do it.
You run
while you were driving?
Obviously.
No, it was at Heroes Con, and I was in an Airbnb, so my tools were limited. So what I do is, you guys can all use this technique. I'm not going to patent it. Take a dish rag, cover the sketch, all right? Because both sides, bottom and top, because you don't want shards going everywhere, because trust me, they do.
Yeah.
Phillips screwdriver, find the upper right-hand corner and just move it just within the edge of the corner. Saucepan, smash. One hit's all it takes, and you can just peel it apart. That's all we had available in Charlotte, and it worked, and now I won't do it any other way.
I love it.
Okay. Have you the new PSA slabs are a bit more rubbery? I would tell you.
I have not. No, actually, you know what? We also did one of those, and Lewis can tell you about this. Lewis and I were working together, both of us trying to pull it apart. It took 2 of us to get it done. That I was stunned at how tough those new ones were.
Yeah, I definitely have damaged the card. Cracking it out of the slab. Yes.
Yeah, that's I cracked one a little while ago, and I have all the tools here to do it. And man, I was nervous. I was very, very, very nervous. Yeah. And I didn't screw it up, but I could see it happening. I could definitely see it happening.
I just had a saucepan nearby.
It was a flan pan. Nice.
Of all of the tools I thought you were going to say, Matt, that was not the one.
Right.
I was thinking like he was in the hotel room and like, what do you have in the hotel room? You got the remote,
the iron,
you got the hotel phone, you got the drawer, I was like, the iron, like blow dryer. What do you have that's just only in the hotel room?
Cast iron skillet, Dre is saying. It's funny the tools that you use to do whatever you got to do when you're on the road. Everything's fine and dandy when you're at home, but when you're on the road, all bets are off. Bets are off. I think we've covered a lot of stuff tonight to give people to process.
And we never even dug into Mystique.
Oh my God, we never did dig in. We're digging into Mystique.
And I still want to show the OAX cards because I want to convince people to come to OAX.
Okay, let's convince people to like Mystique first.
Okay.
So actually, go ahead and do OX, because to do Mystique, I actually I have a screen I need to share rather than physical. So
okay. Well, I have these here, so let me. They're ready to go.
Menu, message me on Instagram what your breaking news is. I've gotten lost in the chat here. You got to let me know.
All right. So when you're at OAX, it could be different this year, but last year they gave us OAX card stock.
Yep, we will be doing it.
Okay, cool. And you got to go around.
Oh, yeah, me texting big for now.
Sorry, yeah, I'm just fighting technology here. Give me one.
That's okay. So you basically, these artists did these for free for the most part. This is Veronica Fish, got a great magic.
Veronica and Andy Fish were like the unsung stars of the show for me.
Oh my gosh, they were so good. This is Iranga, great artist here. And I mean, guys, Bob McLeod.
Yep.
And unfortunately, Bob like pre-sketched his, and then you had to choose from the ones he did, so I couldn't get a magic. But Spidey, like I'm not mad about it. But look how fun this Andy Fish is.
Yep.
That's a fun Spidey, right? And then my other cool ones, Mannix. If y'all are familiar with him.
Cool.
Actually,
it's different
now. Sorry. He's web swinging backwards, but Mannix is different, but he's very popular. Got a Miles Wool.
Oh wow, that's a cool one.
That's cool. And then got an Adam Hughes. I mean, he's only $10,000 a pop, and I got a free sketch. And then one of my favorites, Wayshack.
Dude, so cool.
Isn't that just a cool, quick?
I love that.
I walked up to him and I was like, "Hey, can I get a sketch?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's gonna suck. I hate doing these." And it's like the coolest little sketch, right?
We were talking earlier about how Wayshack has such a loose style. That is like the perfect example of a loose Wayshack
so
hand.
Good. And then, of course, my favorite one from the event is, of course, the Finch. That I showed. So David Finch. But so I'm telling you guys, if you're a fan of Marvel cards, Marvel art, Marvel artists, I mean, you can get a sketch from all-time greats at OAX, which is just still mind-blowing to me. So you don't want to miss out.
Unless you're having a child.
Unless you're creating a human.
So I do have, this wasn't OAX, but I did have this one, Heroes Con. That's cool. Miles did for me.
Cool, man.
Wait, it's Loki as...
Dupe as Loki, yep.
Did you ask him to do that specifically?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm getting a whole bunch of Dupe cosplaying sketches done by people.
Oh, I love that.
You're brilliant.
Instead, I'm not even doing new Danny sketches now. This is my new theme.
Fuller, you're something else. I love it.
This is when you know you're at the end of collecting. You're like, what?
Yeah, right. What weird stuff can I do?
Now I got to do Dupe cosplaying.
Trying to find. Here we go.
Yeah. So one of the things we talked about with Mystique is the theme. I was like, well, I'll pull together some of my favorite Mystique sketches. And it was easier to get the images rather than to hold up each one. So you could just. And
Matt and I have a great story about this artist. Do you remember Matt?
Oh yes, with the magic, right?
Yeah. No. So I was collecting the full rainbow of Dark Phoenix for X-Men Metal.
Oh, the Phoenix. That's right.
And I had 2 sketches by this artist, and Matt had the third. No. I had 2 sketches by Nelson. Matt had the third that created the trio. He had 2 sketches by Alcyon. How do you say it?
Yep, Alcyon Silva.
Alcyon. And I had the one he was missing. So we were able to trade and complete our trios for pack inserted sketches from the same artist.
Cool. Very cool.
It was great. A great artist.
So kind of goes all across the sets. I love this one, Marvel Universe 2011, Alex Magno. Again, Mystique, Battle Worn, and again, so rare to see a gun. Not just a gun, but a gun literally pointing directly at
I feel threatened right now.
Right?
I do not feel safe.
Andre Toma, AP.
Oh, the background.
Yeah, I love how he does the faces in the background.
Toma is amazing.
Yeah, Professor X, Rogue, Nightcrawler, and Destiny. So good.
Yeah.
I don't know about 100% claws out. if I get it confirmed, I'll make sure it gets announced on some stream.
These guys have him on speed dial. We could call him if you want, Raj, right now on speaker.
We just need to know that Claws Out is 100% going to be there.
That's
what's
right.
really
There's the
important.
question.
This is
Andy
fun,
Price,
Matt.
just like a
Wow.
fun one. And I love when they use the break the frame to make it look three-dimensional with the hand there.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
And Andy, these were all incentives in the X-Men set from Andy. Little Bella from Masterpieces.
Wow.
She did great color.
Bella Ratchlin, like a major artist.
Yep.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is another one of my favorite artists, Benjamin Glendenning. He's got a very cool style. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm a big fan of his.
And he's not doing sketches for Upper Deck anymore, is he?
I haven't seen him for quite a while. No.
Me either. I love the signature though.
Yeah. Oh, he's got such a cool one.
Pulling Fire says he loves when people play with the frames around the
Yep.
sketch cards. I agree with you completely. I love when people do that.
So I love this Chibi House of M, Mystique and Rogue.
Oh, that's a different one. That's
is that
beautiful.
an AP?
This one is an AP, yes.
Okay.
Chris Foreman has a range. This man can do a lot.
Yeah, Chris is great.
Whoa.
Just simple. Danielle Gransall, also Danielle Soledad. I forget which is the married name or not, but she did some great. Her use of color on the cartoony styles is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Not to mention just how cool Mystique looks and is as a character. It has one of the coolest mutant powers ever.
Yeah, this one it's more just the style and the vibe of this one that I like. Yeah. It's not the most technically perfect, like the hands a little bit of a blur there, but just the composition just appealed to me on this one.
I like it.
Eric McConnell, I like the whole story. There's just a cool story here with the prison break,
Anytime you see Mystique halfway turning into anything like we were discussing before is a good day.
Yeah. I mean, it also had to be quite an explosive to blow up a tank, but we'll let that one slide.
Something I was wondering, have we seen Mystique shapeshift into a male version of anybody? I don't remember from the movie.
I didn't put it here. I have one by PJ where she's shapeshifting into Wolverine.
Amazing.
Yeah, I would think she turns into Wolverine in sketches that I've seen more than anything else.
Very cool.
Because it's just so easy to do claw hands,
Fair enough.
This is Helga Wojcik, great style, and just I love the little details like the dots along the edge and just the white line. She sort of made her own frame. Just love how she did that.
Very cool.
This is a 4-card puzzle by John Hughes. Wolverine. She's kind of taken out X Factor down there. You can see Phantom X, Deadpool, Wolverine, Archangel. In fact, you can see Deadpool's holding the white flag there.
I give
up. Cat L'Orange.
That's a different Little Mermaid Mystique.
Yeah, I mean it's the AOA. In fact, I've sort of in my head had a hard time determining. I've sometimes gone back and thought maybe this was Namorita instead of Mystique. I've always been on the fence
because of the royalty.
The wings here behind her.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've always in my head, I want to pretend it's Mystique, but I'm 99% sure it's not. But I love this card, and it's a chance to show it off. So whatever.
I'm glad you did. There's a little skull underneath her hair.
We just can't see it exactly.
It's Mystique turning into Namorita.
There you go.
There you go.
There's a great one.
A nice Liddy Lee. This was from MM18, and she had this sort of she did painted for these ones. So it's got a nice acrylic texture.
Is that her first set?
No. At least 16 is where I first saw her.
Okay.
MM16. So.
Wow.
This was one of the first APs I got from Marlowe, and it did come in a box like you had shown. I just love it. And it's cool to see his whole process. I just love the story with this one. Kind of the mother.
Dear son. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's cool. You need one with the dad in there. You need to put the whole family.
Yeah, Azazel or whatever the heck his name is. Yeah. Newton Barbosa always does great work. Just kind of straightforward, sassy. So this is an AP I got from PJ, and we talked a lot about this one and kind of the homage and with her and her wife. So I thought this one came out fantastic.
You went
Very
with the
nice.
creation scene, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we did a few with that sort of theme. Ryan Orozco, who is now Rye Pex. He's doing sketch cards again, going by that name, but same guy.
The skull and the forehead is just perfect.
Yeah, just a beautiful, straightforward headshot.
The eyes too, yeah.
So this is one of my favorites. So this is an artist, Sora Sung. She only did multi-card puzzles in Premiere 17. It's the only time I've seen her. And I just love the style and the colors.
Very nice.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is a 4-card puzzle. This was pack inserted as is for Dangerous Divas, Tim Shea, and it's I think it's after Greg Horn.
When you say pack inserted as is, you're saying there were 4 cards to pull?
Yes. Yep. You got them all in either one pack or one box. Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was fun.
Would love to experience
Val
that.
Hochberg, again, just a great cartoony style.
Yeah.
I saw her on the set and I collected a bunch of her cards because they really popped.
Are you guys both fans of... Wow, that's a great sketch card. Are you guys both fans of autos on the front as well?
I don't really have any religion either way, quite honestly.
Yeah, I know, Justin, you're a fan. I'm not a fan. I like it on the back.
I like knowing who the artist is. And
as long as you can tell, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's not so much the signature, but like Dan does just his initials. It's just enough. It's, I like that. It's almost a part of the art, aspect of it.
Yeah, this one I love, Vince Sinico. And again, this is, I always talk about it. This is my hidden gem set, the legendary 3D playable sketch cards. This may be the last one here. Again, another Warren Martin.
Oh, Storm. Yeah.
Kind of doing the transformation. I love how we did it with the, just not a straight line, just sort of blending it like that.
It's not
Could
easy.
you go back one to that other cardstock there? So this cardstock's always sort of puzzled me. I've seen some sketches on these that are really interesting, really, really well done, really cool stuff. And I've never can you tell us a little bit of a story about these, Matt? Have you ever opened these and pulled them?
I opened cases upon cases. Oh yeah, because this set was pretty cheap comparatively for a sketch per box,
right? And
for a lot of good sketch artists, yeah. So this was part of Legendary's a deck building game that Marvel's had for years and years. And this set in 2015, they did Legendary 3D. So it had 3D covers, 3D lenticular cards, and they also introduced playable sketch cards. And again, you would get one per box. And there was a time you were getting boxes for like $60.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I just imagine, what if they were doing this in the new Magic the Gathering, release?
Oh God.
It would be. But Matt, your point is, I think, dead on. It's a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Especially at the price. And these sketches are still cheap. I mean, I bought them cheap from you, and they're great.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yeah. There are a few that won't be cheap for me, but yeah.
No. I don't mean it that
sure.
way. I mean,
yeah. Relatively speaking, absolutely.
I'm if this same sketch was on a Premiere stock or a Masterpiece, it would be a lot more expensive.
For sure.
Matt, would you put that one in your collection?
It's interesting. Let me see. Yeah, let me see it bigger. That's kind of cool. I'm trying to think. Botterill, maybe?
No, that's me. I did that one.
Oh, you did that one. Very nice. Okay. I was trying to match the style. Very cool.
Yeah, it's on the Spidey.
I assume I was going to say you must have given that to someone since you don't have it in hand.
I did, yeah. They asked for it.
It's cool.
So it was fun.
I like how you did the progress and took pics along the way. I think more artists should do that.
It's true.
I was doing this, just to show the, over time for me, how my process changed or got better, and I could see the steps of growth in the sketch. And I also did it because I wanted to, possibly inspire others because, at first it doesn't look great, it's just an idea and a concept. And then, you just keep working at it and, go from there. And then you start to see it come together. And then sometimes you see where you screw it up, maybe I should have stopped.
I always thought, I don't think it would ever be practical, but I always thought it'd be great if you had sketch cards where on the back there was a QR code where you could go to an actual stop motion time lapse of the creation.
That is cool.
That would be a great insert.
As Upper Deck pays you $5 for that card and asks you to film the whole process.
Exactly. And
Well,
since the QR code is printed, you have to do one for each card.
That's right.
But Matt, I mean, with like say Instagram, you don't necessarily have the QR code on the back, but like if artists would just post that, you can at least discover.
Sure.
And I've talked to artists, and they're like, yeah, like I'm, doing this thing, doing that thing, hiring this agent, that agent. I'm like, not that that's not important. Don't mishear me. But if you're able to present your art in a way that kind of creates that following online, you can sell your own stuff and create your own value.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got to brand yourself.
Yeah,
if only there was a Marvel card channel that had an artist where they would upload shorts of them drawing sketch cards. Like if you went on mine and looked at the shorts of me drawing and coloring on the sketch cards, it'd be crazy. It'd be absolutely crazy. It's such a good
madness.
Well, I think like Bella is a great example. Okay, this is just my own personal opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right, but like Bella has done a great job of presenting her art online in an incredible way. She's her talent's up there. Don't get me wrong, but there are lots of talented artists. Okay, but because it's done in a real and it's fun, it's connected to music, and it shows this kind of flair of her art. It's created, this following. And when you have 50,000 or whatever number it is, I don't know what the correct number is, people following you, then the chances that your prices of your art's going to go up is a lot higher, right? Your chances of getting discovered by another company who wants to hire you to do it, to be licensed, like it's a lot higher when you do that.
Right.
So I think it's important.
And Raj is saying here, it's really been cool seeing Ben's time lapses. And I was mentioning Miles's, and you're totally right, Justin. When you get to be a part of the process as a witness, and it's to music and it's just fire, yeah, it really does. It makes you feel a different connection to that artist's work, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, any involvement with the artist changes your appreciation of the end product, for sure.
Yeah,
good or
in
bad,
both directions. Whether it's a good experience,
yep.
I've had some challenging experiences with some artists a little while ago. I love the cards, and I'm still in shock that they arrived. So it's a funny experience going through it all.
Yeah, I've had one or two where the experience has ruined the card for me. Even though I like the art on the card, I just again, the cards are so important to me to bring back memory, and that's part of it for me. And if it's going to bring back a bad memory, nope. A couple of them I've given away on the stream specifically because of that.
No, it's really interesting, the emotional connection to it. For me, I've had challenging deals with people over EPAC, over other mediums, and it hasn't ruined the card for me. They weren't sketches; they were just other items. But they've tried. It's come close. You know what I mean? Definitely is an emotional connection to these deals.
Oh no, I had, and Matt is aware of this, and we don't have to relive it, but I had a really bad experience with a card, and it kind of did the opposite effect. Like it drove me even with, more zeal to get that card. Now it wasn't a sketch card, so it wasn't like a one and done. It was an out of 10. So there was, essentially 9 others I could get. And probably because the story ended that the second chance and, going to get the card, it resulted in a PSA 10, which is a pop 2. Like now I'm really satisfied, but I didn't just get turned off from that particular card altogether. Thankfully.
Raj's wife just found him in the chat, and welcome to the chat, Cindy. Because here you are, Raj. You are so busted, buddy. Raj is at work. I know you're.
Braden, can you run a quick hashtag giveaway for me? I'm going to do a giveaway.
Absolutely, I can. Yeah, I do it really. Absolutely. What do you want the hashtag to be, my friend?
Just do card.
Card. Okay. Hashtag card, everybody.
I only have my good cards around me at the moment, so I can't do a giveaway.
I still have some envelopes back on the closet wall.
Okay, we'll do.
This will be the hokiest giveaway ever, as you guys know how I do it on here. But give me one sec.
Wait, I don't know how you do it on here. What's happening?
I put it on my phone and I show my iPad because I don't have a computer.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's pretty ghetto.
Wait, you don't have a computer?
I don't have a computer now.
What are you using right now?
My iPad.
To
The
do-
entire Last Pack Magic channel is run off of an iPad that can't do show your screen on the
Yeah,
their
That's,
screen.
that's the part I need to
The
hear.
whole Joe presentation we did was on my iPad, and the quality was great.
Yeah, you look great.
Oh, hang on a sec. Here we go. Hang on. Okay, so the hashtag's going in there, card.
Yep.
I gotta do one thing here. Give me a sec.
It's just like we're in the game Portal here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great game, by the way. Portal is amazing.
It holds up for sure.
Yeah, it's still good. I lost one of the parts of a top loader for a sketch, and I can't find it.
Okay.
Someone had mentioned finding
There it is.
unicorn sketches, and a little batch of them has just popped on eBay. Interesting timing.
Okay, here we go for the. So it's hashtag card. One sec, everybody. And the hashtag is card. All right, Fuller, let me know when you want me to run it.
Why don't you do a 15-second countdown?
All right.
Last chance, hashtag card. Get it in.
Well, he's got to collect them first.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 18 entries so far. 10, 9, 8,
Come on, guys.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, guys, get those in there. Hashtag card. Thanks a lot for being in here. Fuller, thanks for doing a giveaway. Here we go.
Good luck, everybody.
Wait, what room is Raj's wife hiding in?
Roger's at work.
Okay.
Dre!
The one person who doesn't need another sketch.
Yeah, right. Yay! $16 shipping.
That's fun.
All right, Dre, pick one of these 6 numbers: 5, 6, or 9 through 12.
We did a giveaway on the stream that I did with Manu. And Manu's like, let's do a giveaway. So we just had to go through that complete hokey
Yeah.
thing. You were in it, Fuller.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, man, I really hope no one in Canada wins it. And then the woman who won it was in Australia.
That's
We
hilarious.
died. It was so funny. Dre says number 11 if you didn't see there, Fuller.
You know, actually, I'm remembering. The first thing I won in this hobby was from Dre. He won he did a free sketch, and I got Blue Marble. Was my first ever sketch commission, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
What
So
do we
Marvel
got for
Universe
Dre?
2011.
Mhm.
And it's a Canadian character
There we go.
Please be Puck. Please
From
be Puck.
Oh,
from
my
Alpha
God.
Flight. Close. Mariner.
Oh, that's not
Okay.
terrible.
That would have been really funny if it was
Yeah,
Puck,
right.
though, Justin. I appreciate your enthusiasm.
That's artist. The artist is Apri Kubriasanto.
Very nice.
What Matt said.
There we go.
Well, thanks for doing a giveaway. That was really fun. One day, Justin, I am going to get. So I have a laptop and I have a desktop computer, but I just went so long without ever updating them that they don't run properly anymore. I need to do something about that one day. But I have an 11-acre property project on the go. I spend all of my tinkering time on an excavator, and it's on the list. But a computer is on the list.
You're doing great, man.
One day.
Just the way you said it, you was like, I don't have this or that. I'm like, well, what are you operating with
Yeah,
here?
that's right.
Because it's doing so good.
There's a guy behind me just cranking my wind-up computer right now for the internet. There's a guy on a bicycle just spinning, hoping it doesn't go out. That's awesome. Dre said, Claus says Dre's gonna paint over it.
He could remark it, make it a jam.
Right. So since you guys have been doing all the streams about the OA stuff and all of this, and are like with sketch cards moving on, we're not going to see original art up for sale in the style that it's been when we move into Magic and when we move into Tops, correct?
It certainly seems that way. I mean, there will be some of the Magic art will be physical, but the Magic art world is its own beast.
Right.
And you could talk to Donnie about this. I'm sure he could educate us all. But yeah, that's craziness. And I doubt there'll be any sketches there. And certainly we're hoping there will be sketches or in tops, but that doesn't seem like it's going to be the case.
Right.
And we have,
well, they are signing artists up. I will say that for sketches, they have been signing artists up.
So Manu made a comment way back. He was hoping we were on Mystique sketches, but he was saying that at New York Comic Con, they had showed, Neo had mentioned it, and that they had showed some previews that weren't found in someone's trunk of what the Magic cards were going to look like. I looked through them as well. They look fantastic.
I put them up in my story, and then there's a really good link where you can see them very well. So I'm going to see if I can drop it in the chat for people here. But to me, the first kind of iteration here, I think, is hopeful because it is original art.
And Dre's saying there's 100% sketches for tops.
Yeah, I just put it in my comment. I misspoke. I meant there were no APs.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. It's telling me to join the chat. I'm going to put it I'll drop the link in the private chat and let you do it.
The amazing Frank Miller. Oh, God.
There you go. And then if you want to share a screen and show them, you can do that too.
I would love to if I could share screens, but I can't.
But I can. All right, let me do it.
And what does my camera just do?
Let's all do
it.
Oh man, I'm screwed here. I don't know what I did.
It's gonna. There it goes.
Hey, we're back.
It
I told you this is the hokiest. This is like you leaned up on shipping boxes right now. This isn't even on a tripod. But
I love that there's comic books tied to the cards, though. I think that's awesome.
So
here we go.
Yeah, and I'll scroll here, but this is Secret Lair Marvel Super Drop, and let's see, I can probably zoom in a little bit here. That help? But this is I'm not going to try to explain what everything is, but I think this is a promo of the first one here that we're seeing. But here are the Black Panther cards.
Wow, those look good. The Rider's saying he's really hoping there's a Ghost Rider card in here. I'd say you're probably going to get one.
I don't know when, but I mean, it feels like this is going to be like a full Marvel release over time.
Yes, it does have that vibe for sure.
And what's really cool, and I know this is normal for Magic, but it's not always normal for Marvel trading cards. The artist is listed at the bottom.
Yeah,
so you can see that.
Those artists have been blown up today.
Yes, I know they have. I've chosen not to bother them. Especially since I'm broke. But we got Captain America here.
The Captain America, these are the ones that stood out to me. They look so good.
The Ryan Pankos, I think, is really pretty special. He seemed rather excited to be able to announce his art here.
Right.
Which is cool. I would encourage you to look up the artists and go to their Instagrams and follow them. And keep up with them. Yeah.
Brilliant point.
I think that's always a smart thing to do in the hobby.
For us, this is something that I wanted to discuss with the Magic cards that, I don't know how everybody feels about it, but we are so used to seeing a full card have the art on it. And now with the Magic stuff, we have this text that's there. How do you guys, I know that's how Magic works. I'm not trying to change Magic. I hope the Magic crowd doesn't try to burn me down to the ground, but how do you guys feel about adapting to cards looking like this for the Marvel world?
I don't mind it since we can still see the art underneath. It's just a little obscured, but it's not like it's completely blocked out.
True. But Medu says all of the art is being sold to one person. He goes, I kid, but do I?
I wonder what, I think a big percent of this is digital too. There are some physical, but but until Dan, like that Iron Man on the left, that to me, it looks digital. But again, I've also seen how Dan can make stuff that actually looks digital, but it's not. So I
know we were talking about that earlier. You did like that. It definitely looks labored on. TJ saying bring back Marvel overpowered cards. I second that. TJ, I'm 100% with you on that one.
So Overpower is apparently doing something now with Marvel. I don't know if you noticed, but Bella Ranchlin showed art that she's doing for Overpowered on her Instagram. Like it was this week. But here's what I would say: like, it's not the same for me. Okay, it's not the same as trading cards. I don't know how I'm going to pursue this as a collection. I think at most, I hope to play it. Like,
Cool.
I hope to be with some friends who love Marvel art and Marvel cards, and sit down and enjoy playing it.
Mhm.
And then I hope to add to my already growing Spider-Man and Magic collection. I have both Spider-Man and Magic trading card game cards, TCG cards already. So having those in the collection as part of the master collection is not new. So the additional element I hope to have is just to learn how to play it, to enjoy playing it, and see how the community around it adapts. It is going to be something like to listen to some of the content that I've already looked up for this. You know, the text is a major focus. Like, what does this card do? You know, if you're playing it in a certain deck or whatever, it is important. And so if you want, to me, moving forward, if I want to understand these cards from a value standpoint, the way it plays in a deck seems to be attached to that in some way.
And Fuller, I want to hear your opinion. I just want to point out something great that Jeremiah just pointed out here. He says, my wife, kids, and I will be making new decks. This might be a product that actually does get younger people involved in Marvel cards. Yep. Well, as an entry point, as the kids who are into Magic the Gathering, you know, oh my gosh, look at this, want to try it. So Jeremiah, I think that's a really interesting point that you comment on by involving your family in it. I'm sure there are lots of other families that will be enjoying that as well. Fuller, what do you think about these?
I think 100%, and not just kids. It'll bring in new collectors, and I feel like it'll be a much different vector than the sports people who've been coming in recently. These are people who will be coming in and, you know, have that whole. I think the Magic background is going to be very different in how they approach Marvel as a hobby versus sports. I'm going to generalize and say some of the sports people coming over have been more speculative than some. Whereas I think the appreciation, I think the focus is going to be on the cards and the playability. And I think the art in some cases will be secondary. But let's be honest, Magic collectors love the art and they're ravenous about it. So,
and I can see why
like they're
good. Look, I'm telling you, if they do Magic art as good as this Storm art looks right here, like I'm in. Like, I'm in. I'm spending the money. It's going to take what it takes. Like, it's amazing, and I just, it's beautiful.
This might be enough to get me to try playing Magic. Quite honestly,
here
honestly, I'm terrified of Magic because I don't want to deal with the learning curve. But this is something that could inspire me.
Oh, where'd it go?
Dre, I really appreciate this comment. Can we take a minute to appreciate how good Graydon is at moderating the panel? Thank you very much, Dre. You are a good friend.
He is. Hey, look at the background of this Storm. You got Bishop, Iceman, Colossus, Jean Grey. Is that Forge? I think that's Forge, Archangel.
Can you see that?
We're getting a lot in these cards. Like, there's a lot of image to absorb and take in.
So, but like, what if that had Danny Moonstar in the back?
Bite your tongue.
I know, but what if it did?
I'd have to get it.
You'd have to get it. If it had Magic, I'd have to get it. Yeah. Yes, that's the point.
Yeah, and that's the problem with these cards. You really you need to see them all and search the cards.
Well, there's Sabretooth's hands, so I guess I'm in on that one.
You're in on that one. It is Sabretooth's hands, and then Wolverine coming out of a Sentinel's mouth.
Fausto was the one who pointed that out, I'm pretty sure, when he was showing them when they had leaked in someone's trunk there or something like that. So Fausto wasn't going to cut that. I copied him, but
did he chuckle as he pointed it out to you?
With an evil, sinister laugh.
Exactly.
Wolverine is the best there is. Look at that. That was really cool.
That'd be awesome.
X-23 with Wolverine. Love that.
That's a beautiful one. The Danger Room.
Outdoor Logan in the wild.
Claws Out Collection says there's a Magic for Dummies book out there. I never got into Magic. That'd be a wicked giveaway when we do a case break of this. The Magic for Dummies book is the giveaway.
Yeah.
But some of those pieces, like, oh god, that Rhythm of the Wild. Some of these have to be digital. They're just too good.
They're so good. I agree. They're really, really nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Beautiful.
It's going to be beautiful, but the timing I think is really interesting because everything is changing. If you've been, forgive me for this, the language here, but if you've been like a top dog in the hobby, get ready to have to refigure out how to be the top dog in the hobby.
Justin, actually, top dog is a banned word on EPAC and on the Last Pack Magic channel, but we're going to let it slide this time.
If you've been used to winning with relative ease, what I mean by that is you just wake up and it works out. Like finding your cards, finding your collection, you know where to go, you know where to be, you're already in the right space and place. That's changing. And it's changing because of the way Topps is going to deliver product, and it's going to change the way Magic the Gathering is entering the space, and Upper Deck is gone. Like it's going away. And to me, like I'm excited about that because I get bored when things plateau. I don't plateau well in life. I'd rather have to fight and claw to climb the mountain, so to speak. But I just hope everybody else is up for the challenge, or you're totally okay with just digging deeper in that span of Upper Deck and behind, like whatever. Like, and you're not really worried about what happens moving forward. You're just going to keep digging into the Upper Deck, Rittenhouse, and Vintage Marvel, which is, I think, a great idea too. But it is all changing.
So something I've noticed, not only from the chat tonight and the conversations with other collectors on Instagram and things like that, is that collectors are so creative. Mm-hmm. With the amount of product that is out there right now, the possibilities of what to do with all of it, some of it, part of it, just what you're collecting, they're infinite, especially with just how creative everybody is. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited to see as well how people incorporate the Magic cards into their character collections, into their set collecting, how people are collecting the new Topps Chrome and all that. I'm sure there are people who are coming up with some incredibly clever ways to make it all mash, whether it be binders, whatever. And I'm stoked for it all. I'm excited.
Like, I don't even, like, I have such a learning curve, but I'm excited for it, right? I don't even know, like, within Magic, I know there won't be numbered unless they do, like, the one ring, one of one. But are there tiers that some cards are rarer than others? I don't even know that. So I'm going into this completely... I'm a complete noob, and in some ways it's kind of exciting.
No kidding, it's exciting. I joined one of the Magic groups a little while ago just to learn a little bit. They're scary. The Magic group is way scarier than the Marvel group. I'm like, oh my God, get out of this group. I need out of here.
So in one of the videos I saw today, a person was already assigning a price value on each of these cards. Now, whether they're right or wrong, like that's not the point, but they could look at the card, and because of whether it's the rarity or the playability, they knew it was like a $4 card or a $30 card.
That's great.
And they were like, and if this pack is $39.99 or $49.99, like yes, you want to get this pack because the value is already there for what the card is. But they were talking about in the realm, if I'm understanding it correctly, they were talking about in the realm of building a deck. They were not talking about grading it and selling it, that kind of thing. And so I thought that was interesting. I don't know what that means. I'm here to learn it. I'm excited about that.
I mean, like, I want to understand, like, I know, at least from Pokemon, I know those, that in the lower left, I know that stuff means stuff. Like, I know that's the card number, but I think the M or the R maybe has to do with the rarity.
Yeah.
The N is the English. I'm not sure what SLV means. Maybe that's the set name.
So this one right here, the Ice Storm, this was the one that, if I remember correctly, if I'm right, this was the one that had the higher price on it. I don't know why. But, he was mentioning that it was like some of these are reprints. I'm like, okay. how's it a reprint? But I think it's the structure of the card with a new art.
Oh, so there might be a lightning bolt of that number that's not Storm. That's like an item or something.
Correct.
And Donkus is asking if these cards already exist. So a couple of people had mentioned that this has come up recently at New York Comic-Con. So these cards do exist. They've been printed. We've seen physicals, and they're due to be released at some point soon. I don't know when, but
hold on, I'll tell you.
All right, this is cool then. All right, somebody's got to do a live on this because I want to watch this and hear all about this.
Yeah, we're doing a live about it right now, Fuller.
as we just read off chat. That's all we're gonna do.
We really seem like we know what we're talking about here, don't we?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have to show you some other stuff here. So
Oh my, all right.
But we're gonna have to, if you would take this off the screen to stop present and make me big. The first release is like the end of November. I have to get the date, but can you see that?
Give me one second here.
I believe this is only at New York Comic Con. Maybe I'm wrong, but they're doing a what if cover variant where you get the trade dress of the comic. So look at that.
So those that's what Manu was saying, the comics and the promo card.
Yeah.
And Donkeys is saying, check out the storm. Well, under the name, these are smaller names that Origins non-Marvel versions of.
That's wild.
Yep. Oh, that's cool. But the card, the card to get, I think, is going to be the Doctor Strange promo from New York Comic Con.
Very cool. These cards look so good.
Yeah.
So those on the left, those look like they're cards, but I think Manu's saying there's going to be a comic featuring that cover.
Oh, so that's not that's not an actual card.
Maybe the cover of the comic does have the words on it. That just seems weird to me.
Oh, so that is a comic book, not a card. Oh, I would love to have the card version of that too.
Those are going to go for crazy prices on eBay.
So Manu says those are the books.
Those look so good.
Don't they look great? Especially the Storm. Wolverine's rad too, but that Storm.
Manu says, Justin, show the text I sent you. This I got to read.
Okay.
He calls us Picassos. Be careful.
Yeah.
I didn't read it. I'm going to read it to everyone as I read it for the first time.
Read it live. Risky read of the day.
Oh,
all right.
boy.
Let's go.
Okay, well, now you're telling me no, but I'm doing it now. To clarify for everyone, I am at NYCC. They did a panel revealing the first 5 character cards and the 5 cards that will be paired with them. As you left the panel, everyone got 1 or 2 comics with a promo counter spell.
Cool.
A promo card and one of the 2 variants of the comics is giving out on the panel. So
everybody, that's so cool.
That's so cool.
Well, the question is,
jumped on.
Is anybody else going to get them, or is it only the people that were in the panel? Are these going to be hyper rare? I guess is kind of the thing. But that's the Doctor Strange there, and those are the comic books.
Marvel Cards Baby says those look amazing. I think we all agree with you, my friend. Those look super, super cool.
Ah, that is awesome.
That is really cool.
There's a lot of stuff to be excited about right now. This is a fun time to be a collector.
Oh, Manu sent them to me. He said, no, I wanted you to read them. That's why I sent them to you. He wanted me to share. So, okay. Thank you, my friend. You're the best.
This I'm gonna have to change the title of this video. We covered like 10 things. We're gonna have to definitely add to the description here.
Yeah.
Everyone who's watching this, make sure you're following these guys. Make sure you're following OCD Sketch Cards Instagram and his channel and his Whatnot channel. What else do you got going on, Fuller, that we don't know about?
The official Marvel card group.
I tried, the official Marvel card group. I'm an admin over there.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to keep up on That's So Sketchy. I've got to do the second part of my. Maybe I'll do it this weekend. Force myself to do it because I'm going to Philadelphia non-sports card show next weekend.
Very cool.
Maybe I'll do a video. Why not?
That'll be
fun. You ought to do a walk around video while you're at the.
I could do that too. It's an interesting show to say the least. I'm really going there to hang out with 1 or 2 people.
Well, and I don't want you to not hang out with your people, but I think your commentary is something that's really useful for the community. If you were able to give that as you walk around.
It's something I'm so jealous of a lot of you guys is that you get to attend these Comic-Cons that are so close to you guys. And when you stream portions of it and you make the videos, people like me that live in the Arctic get to, when we're not hunting polar bears, watch these streams and see what these are like. And polar bear hunting season is upon us. So I'm busy, but I will make time to
You lying dog, you get better weather than I get.
That's so true.
Yeah.
100%
I'm going to be freezing in a few weeks, and you're going to be out there in your, button-up shirt.
Yeah, that's right. I'm growing a beard just so that when the winter does hit, I'm very well prepared. I'd like to keep this part of my body very warm. I don't want to get cold in those areas. But, Manu, I'm so glad that your breaking news got to make it in the chat. I know that was just eating you alive inside, and I personally enjoyed that. Well, I just felt your inner angst, but it did make the show, so congratulations. The magic card of Doctor Strange is up for $175 to $200 on eBay from what I've seen. Donnie, I didn't even realize that stuff had started to hit eBay, but very cool.
That's crazy.
Stop perpetuating the stereotype. Dre, I will perpetuate all of the stereotypes I want on my own channel. Thank you.
Tell Santa I said hi.
You're a good one. Justin's in hurricane country, and Manu. Really appreciate everybody in the chat giving their feedback about things, because obviously there are some of you in here that are super excited about individual things that are happening in the hobby, and hearing from you and your enthusiasm and your information is what makes this fun, and like not only educates us but like gets the enthusiasm level up there. It's really exciting to know all this stuff. So thank you to everybody except for Manu for providing all of this great information in the chat.
Think about how crazy the hobby is right now.
It's crazy.
So you just did a 2-hour and 20-minute stream, and unless I missed something in the beginning, didn't really even spend time talking about the Just Go original art reveal and the fact that Matt has the paintings with him right now. But there's just
I think people are probably sick of hearing about that at this point, right?
Well, but I mean, look, there was a time where that would just consume us for who knows how long, because it was that big of a deal, and it really is. But there's that much going on, and I could think of 3 or 4 other major things right now we didn't even cover, which is fine. We don't have to. But my point is, like, a lot's happening.
It's a great point that in the past, you could cover stuff in a stream and it would feel like at the end you're all caught up, and we're not even close to caught up about any of the topics. But we did launch a really good conversation here for more research to be done about the Magic the Gathering set and the Comic-Con stuff that's going on. We had a really good conversation about what's going on with sketch cards and some artists that are on the come up right now that are really worth looking at. Justin had a great point of, if you like the artwork you see on a lot of these cards, do yourself a favor and follow them on Instagram. Go through, like their stuff, participate in the conversation. I mean, as the hobby grows, there's just an infinite amount of fun to be had.
Send them a message and tell them.
Yeah. One other thing that we covered that I just want to repeat, that if you're feeling inspired by all of these cool pieces of art that are out there, keep drawing. Have a notebook on hand at the dining room table or on the side. I have one sitting on the table next to the couch.
Get you an LPM sketch.
Yeah, and draw yourself some stuff and have some fun, and don't take it too serious, and get better. Watch a tutorial on it and have a great time, guys. Everyone's having so much fun, and there's I hope that everyone who's watching this is having just as much fun as us or more.
Yeah, for sure.
Fuller, you got anything you want to close out on?
No, I think we covered a nice wide range. So
there's 2 more sets that came out. We should talk. No, I'm just joking. Totally.
Exactly.
Well, there's sets that are canceled. That's for sure.
Someone did say earlier that Infinity War is finally going to come out. I don't know.
This Wednesday. This Wednesday. Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank God. It's
October
been
23rd. Almost a week since we had to spend all of our money. It's coming out October 23rd. Secret Wars is going to be shortly after that. We still have matriarchs to come out, Fluor Ultra matriarchs, and we have EPAC. Dre, when's EPAC happening for Premiere? That's the real big question everybody has.
Yeah. There's so much going on. I hope everybody is navigating EPAC and all of this. I hope that all of you in-debt people like myself and every other person that I know somehow have the climbing gear to get out of this pit we have all dug. But
what do you think the federal government thought? Like, because you have to report transactions of over $10,000 in any 24-hour period. Yeah. What do you think the federal government is thinking when they saw Masterpieces sell out in less than 72 hours, and the amount of money that was transferred to Upper Deck?
Yeah. My federal government up here doesn't do anything remotely close to thinking, so I guarantee you that none of that is going on. But yours down south might have a better chance at catching those numbers. We're not what they call organized at all up here. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something called a CTR, your currency trade, that you have to document if it happens. But it was a lot of money. I think somebody estimated around $3 million.
There's been a lot of money going through the hobby in general. Imagine the PayPal transactions that have occurred on the result of just the trading card world.
Look, yeah, I'm just talking about the money for $500 a box at the amount of boxes that are likely sold through ePack. Like, so that's $3 million. Now multiply that times however much people then exchange cards for, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But just the sell posts that are out there, and yeah.
This is why oranges to 99 are going for $15 and $30, and ambers are out of 50 are going for $30. Like, because people, like, the amount of cash that just was gone out of the ecosystem. Couple that with the fact that we've had a release every week, every other week, and that's happening. Tops.
Yeah.
People are spending money on UK cards right now at a high level before an even US release. You know, that's another story for another day. And then, you know, a few collectors buying original art like that would normally be buyers. It may not seem like a big deal, but it actually kind of is. That would be buyers in that market right now that are not as much because of that. And I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm just saying what might be possible.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
You know, this is it's really interesting that we've talked about price tonight, because in a market that is so saturated with product, there is absolutely no shortage of product. This is the worst possible time to try to figure out prices for everything, in my opinion.
It's the worst time to sell. And unfortunately, as they say, it's the darkest before dawn.
Yeah.
Man, if you do what you got to do, take care of your family, your bills, 100%. Sell everything. Like, don't not do that. I just think if you guys can just hold on for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you feel it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Don't sell right now if you can help it.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff there. It's a bad time.
Everybody's broke, so it's the worst time to sell.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Everyone's broke, and there's a glut of product. Bad combination.
With the potential of growth for the hobby on the horizon. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it is happening.
It is happening. That's not. I don't think it's up for debate anymore that the hobby is growing. Like, we've always talked about, like, if the hobby grows, when the hobby grows. Like, we're there. It is growing, and it's growing in a direction that's Magic cards, tops. We thought that sports people were going to be the people that grew into the hobby. We were wrong. There's lots of different groups that are coming into it. And welcome to the hobby. Welcome to the channel.
Yeah. Glad to have you.
On behalf of everyone in the Vatas Locus gang, totally joking. Appreciate you guys all being here tonight and joking around with us on your Friday night. I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, Spidey in the Red Hood.
Yeah, you got to follow all these guys up here. That was a great conversation. I lost track of time. That was so good, guys. Really grateful you could be here with us, and we'll see what the rest of the weekend holds, eh?
All
right, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Take care, everyone. Thanks a lot for being in the chat. If you're catching the replay, drop a comment below about something you find interesting. Appreciate it.